Mic check for the YouTube stream.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Oman, and I will be chairing today's Scarborough Committee of Adjustment hearing. Panel members joining me today are Eric Howe, Asif Khan, Ann McCauley, and Larry McClay. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment for the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that apply to the property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and it is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually through WebEx an online digital platform. The meetings are streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing can watch on YouTube. Those who choose to participate virtually and registered in advance will be connecting by video or audio. All virtual participants will be automatically muted upon entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time, and we ask that you mute your devices until you are called upon to speak. Those participating by video will be temporarily upgraded to panelist when their item is called, and during this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your allotted speaking time or to answer questions. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating via WebEx are not allowed to use the share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the committee's decision on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for the decision by email. Please include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the committee's decision, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, known as TLAB, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons, and public bodies, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the committee's decision. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. And when the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute mark. Any presentation or other supporting materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure the revisions are accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken into committee for a decision. All right. Panel members, I need a motion to adopt the minutes. Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move the minutes of May 6, 2026 be adopted as circulated.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Mr. Howe?
Thank you, Chair. I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion to adopt the minutes moved by Mr. Khan, seconded by Mr. Howe. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Okay, are there any declarations of interest by panel or staff members?
Through the chair, I'd like to declare an interest on item number 133 Watson. I have a family member who lives in the statutory notification area, so I will not be present for this item. Sarah Ovens will be the acting deputy secretary treasurer for that item, and I will leave the room.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer. Are there any items to be closed or deferred?
Through the chair, there's one item. There are no items for file closure. There is one item for a deferral request. It's item number 8, 194 Phyllis Avenue. Deferral at the request of the applicant in order to address concerns identified by community planning.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience for item number 8, 194 Phyllis Avenue? Seeing none, is the agent on the line?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you identify yourself, name and address for the record, please?
Yes. Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Basma Ali from CM Designers and Engineers, located at 537 Danforth Road, Scarborough, acting as the agent for this application. We have actively engaged with community planning regarding our 2 requested variances and have successfully addressed the majority of their concerns. To resolve the final remaining item, community planning has recommended a deferral. We agree with the staff and we respectfully request that the committee grant a deferral today as we can finalize the review process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Panel members, we're in committee to the deferral as requested by the applicant. Mr. Howe.
Madam Chair, I move deferral of this application in order for the applicant to address community planning concerns.
Okay, do I have a seconder for the deferral? Okay, Mr. Khan.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion to defer to deal with planning concerns as requested by the agent. And that's moved by Mr. Howe, seconded by Mr. Khan. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Okay, we'll now go to item number 1. I'll just wait for the Deputy Secretary Treasurer to leave the room. All right, item number 1, 33 Watson. It's a consent. We have before us minutes from the January 14th public hearing, as well as the agenda package. We have a plan of survey, public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans. We have a cover letter from Mr. Lee. We have an arborist report from Allen's Landscaping, archaeological assessment prepared by Apex Archaeology. We have site photos, presentation materials from the agent. Heritage is asking for conditions. We have forestry asking for conditions 1, 2, and 3. We have advisory information from engineering. We have a lot of interest expressed by residents on Milroy Creek, Thomas Avenue, Windrush Trail, Watson Street, Grandtown Avenue, Moorish Road, and then we have Bush Avenue, we have, I think, and Glenthorne and Collins Road. And we had opposition correspondence from number 45 Watson Road. All right, is there anybody in the audience who is planning to speak for this item? So item number 1. So how many of you are speaking? 6? Okay, can you folks make it up to the front, please? And just grab a seat for now. Do we have the agent on the line? And there's, just to confirm, there's nobody speaking in opposition online to the staff? It's just the agent, right?
Hi, my name is Jackie Lee, and
Uh,
I'm representing.
Mr. Lee, just stop for 1 second. Do you have anything running in the background? Because it's echoing.
Is that better?
Yes, much better. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jackie Lee, and I'm representing 33 Watson Street.
Okay, we've got 6 residents that would like to speak. So can you do a presentation, please, sir? No more than 5 minutes. Your time starts now.
Sure.
Is there anything you need the staff to put up before you start?
Um, do you have the my presentation material on file?
I believe so, yes. So would you like us to put that up?
Yes, please. That's okay.
Any particular page?
I can start with this page right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. I am the applicant for the property at 33 Watson Street. So today I'm applying for a consent application to sever the subject property into 2 lots, and there are no bylaw variants that are being requested today as part of this application. Next slide, please. The subject site is located in the southeast part of Scarborough on the east side of Watson Street between Kingston Road and Wishaw Road. Next slide, please. The site is currently occupied by a 70-year-old single detached bungalow, and it's in pretty bad condition, and it was constructed in 1955. Next slide, please. The subject site is located within the RD zone and has a lot area approximately twice of the size of most other properties, including all 13 neighboring properties within the same RD zone along Watson Street. Next slide, please. The subject site originally consisted of 2 standard residential lots, each having a frontage of 15.26 meters and a depth of 34.92 meters. Former owner acquired both parcel and merged the titles together in order to construct the existing bungalow, and as a result, the current utilization of the subject site is significantly below what is permitted under the zoning bylaw and is not consistent with the prevailing development pattern within this zone. Next slide, please. So the application proposed to sever the oversized lot into 2 zoning compliant lots with no variance below the minimum zoning requirements, and Part A located on the north side will be the retained lot, and Part B on the south side will be the conveyed lot. Next slide, please. Additionally, according to the zoning requirement for frontage within this RD zone, the minimum frontage is 12 meters, while each of our new lots will have 15.26 meters. The minimum lot area requirement is approximately 360 square meters, whereas each of our new lot will have 532.9 square meters. So both size and dimension significantly exceed the zoning standards. Next slide, please. So follow the lot severance approval. We will complete detailed building design for a single detached duplex on top of each lot. So at the building permit stage, ensuring full compliance with all applicable zoning bylaw and city requirements. Thank you so much.
Okay, I have a question for you here from Mr. Clay.
Thanks very much. Sir, I think it's fair to say that a lot of the folks that are opposed to this application are very concerned with the trees. Maybe before they speak, we can get some clarity.
Sure.
We understand that you've now satisfied urban forestry. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Staff, could I indulge you to pull up the arborist report? And there's a page with a site plan with a map on it. Wonder if we could call that up. Just scroll down until you get to it. Oh, you just missed it. Yeah, back up. Sir, this is your site plan, which looks like it's identifying the trees to be removed. Can you just give us, as the panel and the people in the audience, a perspective about what you're planning to do here?
So my plan is to construct 2 duplexes on each lot. Sorry, 1 duplex on each lot, so 2 duplex in total. So I want to split the land into 2 separate 2 lots, and then 1 duplex on top of each lot. And then in terms of the urban forestry conditions, they're requesting cash in lieu and permit for private tree removal. We have been discussing with urban forestry and provided mitigation measures, and urban forestry removed the comment to refuse, and now it's just standard conditions being imposed.
Right. So if you look at this site plan, as we understand it, the trees that have a red X through them, are those for removal?
Yes. No. Sorry. T7, T3 are sorry, this must have been the previous,
Oh, is there an updated version of this?
I believe so, yeah.
You could just help us find that? I think it'd be helpful to the people that are watching just to see this.
Yes, sorry, just a second. I'm sorry, I don't have it on the Committee of Adjustment file. But I do have a updated version provided to Urban Forestry. I don't know what happened because
Okay, so then maybe I could ask you just to take a look at this map, if you call that map up again. And if you could just speak to it and let us know exactly which trees are being removed and which are being
Sure.
preserved.
Sure. So T7 and T3 will be removed due to poor condition and that's blocking the driveway, and T2, T9 will not be removed.
Okay, and are those trees healthy or are they,
They are healthy, yes.
okay, and all the other trees are being preserved with the green circle around them? Those are all,
Yes.
okay. All right, so it's just the two trees, T7 and T3, that you're planning to remove, and Urban Forestry is satisfied with that.
Yes, and for T9 and T2, we included a and 3, we included a extra meter over dig, shown by the new site plan.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go to the speakers now. Who would like to speak first? You're first? Okay. So I need your name and address, and then you have 5 minutes.
Do you need me to start again? Or are you okay?
I think we're okay. I heard you. Everybody heard? Yeah,
Perfect.
we're good.
Thank you. Our community has supported many forms of growth and intensification over the years. We understand that neighborhoods evolve and that housing needs change. However, good development should improve a community, not diminish the very features that make it desirable in the first place. What concerns us most about this application is that we are here today discussing essentially the same issue this committee identified 5 months ago. At the January hearing, members of this committee made it clear that tree preservation was paramount. Questions were raised about compliance with Section 5124 of the Planning Act, the conservation of natural resources, and whether 2 homes could realistically be accommodated while preserving the existing mature tree canopy. This message was straightforward: find a way to preserve the trees. Yet the revised proposal still results in the removal or injury of the majority of the mature trees across the front of the property. The fundamental issue has not changed. What is particularly troubling is that the tree loss is not being driven by the houses themselves. The trees are largely being sacrificed to accommodate the site layout, specifically the driveway configuration and associated hardscape. This distinction matters. If tree removal were unavoidable to construct safe and functional housing, that would be one discussion. But where significant environmental impacts result primarily from design choices, the committee has every reason to ask whether a better solution exists. Highland Creek is known for its mature tree canopy. Residents consistently identify our trees as one of the defining characteristics of the neighborhood. They provide environmental benefits, storm water management, shade, habitat, and a sense of place that cannot be recreated by planting a few replacement saplings. Once these mature trees are removed, the loss will not be measured in years, but in decades. I would also respectfully suggest that the committee consider the balance between private benefit and public impact. This application is not creating affordable housing. It is not creating rental housing. It is not delivering a broader community benefit that would justify substantial environmental loss. What it does is increase development yield on a single property while transferring the impacts of tree removal and canopy loss to the wider community. As a residents association, that is the balance we are asking you to consider. The Highland Creek Community Association supports development that respects neighborhood character, preserves significant natural features, and contributes positively to the long-term health of our community. We do not believe this application in its current form achieves those objectives. For those reasons, we respectfully ask the committee to deny the severance application or require a substantially revised design that meaningfully preserves the mature tree canopy identified as a concern at the previous hearing. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Any questions for the speaker, panel members? No. Thank you very much. Okay. The next speaker. Morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, committee members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Bill Yarn, and I live right next door at 37 Watson Street. I want to be clear from the start, I'm not here to oppose the growth or density. Communities evolve and we welcome new families to Watson Street. But good development should not come at the cost of irreplaceable features that make our neighborhood viable in the first place. Under Section 5124 of the Planning Act, severance must conserve natural resources and respect local conditions. This plan that we have in front of us today has failed both requirements. When my neighbors and I walk down the street, we see a beautiful mature tree canopy. But right on the property line, immediately next to the proposed construction, stands something incredibly rare, a 70-foot metasequoia, or Don redwood. This is an ancient living fossil tree species. It is a spectacular, unique specimen that defines the character of our shared space and requires specific environmental conditions to survive. You can see the pictures behind me of the tree. At the front of the applicant's property is a row of 7 mature trees, some as old as 90 years. This creates protective microclimate and root buffer for the rare Don redwood. Yet the current plan would cut down or damage 71% of them. That's 5 out of the 7 trees. What is most frustrating is the destruction can be completely avoided. These trees are not standing where the new houses will be built. They're being removed solely because of the current design insists on including 2 separate double driveways, aggressively adding to the unnecessary asphalt to a lot. We're trading decades of natural growth for hardscape and exposing an ancient tree species to severe root shock and potential death. This is exactly what urban forestry took the rare step to recommending a total denial of the severance in January 14th meeting. Furthermore, the damage will not stop at the property line. By effectively clearing the front of 33 Watson Street to fit 2 independent driveways, this development tears away the essential root buffer and windbreak on which my own tree lot relies on, risking destruction and a domino effect. 37 Watson has 25 mature trees on the property right beside them. But my concerns go even deeper than this. We can see from the sidewalk I am deeply concerned about the underground water table, and our distinct topography of the natural grade of my property is approximately 2.5 to 3 feet lower than the subject property. We deal with notoriously high, shallow water table in Highland Creek, where these mature trees act as a natural drainage system. They absorb thousands of liters of groundwater every season. When you clear cut those roots, dig 2 deep foundations, and pave over the yard, gravity dictates exactly where the displaced groundwater will go, downhill, pushing directly against my foundation. This introduces a severe risk of basement flooding, hydrostatic pressure, completely ignoring the physical reality of the slope. 5 months ago, this committee challenged the applicant to bring back a plan that preserves the trees. Instead, they've returned with effectively the same drawings. The buildings are slightly narrower, but the destructive double driveway, the excessive hardscape, and the complete disregard for the water risk remain. This application fails the Planning Act and contradicts urban forestry's experts' mandate. I respectfully ask that the committee deny this application until the applicant can bring back a plan that respects the topography and reduces the hardscape and protects the rare tree of the neighboring properties. Thank you very much.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the driveways a number of times. Are you suggesting that these houses could be built if it were configured differently, the driveways? Because if I look at the site, even if you put them side by side, you'd still have to remove at least one tree, right?
Well, there's a driveway in place right now, so the property is 100 feet deep. You could move those homes back, not disturb the trees, and utilize that one double car driveway and possibly have it shoot off to the left to go
I
into the
see.
other
So
home.
you're suggesting it would be a mutual driveway and then at a certain point it would.
Correct, correct.
All right, I just wanted to ask you that. Anybody else have any questions? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. Sir, I would like to know, did you have any meetings with the developer and raise your concern?
You know, good question, and I did. Actually, I believe we had a meeting on the property in October of 2025, and I met the applicant and his father, and we just had a quick chat. I gave them my card so they could get a hold of me at any time, and I said to make sure that the building process goes smoothly, we should talk together as a community and try to work this out. And they were agreeable at the time, and that was it. I haven't heard from them since until now.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else, any questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Yarn.
Thank you.
Good morning, members of the Scarborough Community of Adjustment. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Chantal Aymon, and I reside at 29 Watson Street with my husband, Normand Comtois, who is here today. Our property directly borders the south side of the lot that is the subject of this application. We're here to express our strong opposition to the proposed lot severing and redevelopment. As many residents stated during a January hearing, Highline Creek is valued not only for its history, but also for its mature tree canopy, natural environment, and established residential character. These qualities define our neighborhood and are a major reason people choose to live here. One of our greatest concern is the loss of mature trees, as you heard already. For your convenience, I submitted online photographs that illustrate the significant tree canopy currently surrounding this property. Following a tree inspection, Urban Forestry initially opposed the severing application. Surprisingly, that position was later reversed. The reality remains unchanged. Mature, healthy trees would be removed or placed at risk if this proposal proceeds. These trees are far more than landscape features. They improve air quality, reduce heat, absorb stormwater, support wildlife, and enhance the quality of life for everyone in the community. They have taken decades to reach their current size and ecological value. Once lost, they cannot be replaced within our lifetime. The City of Toronto has committed to increasing its tree canopy to 40% by 2050. Approving a development that requires the removal of mature, healthy trees appears inconsistent with that objective and with the city's broader environmental commitment. We are also concerned about the water table, drainage, and stormwater impacts. These trees play a critical role in absorbing moisture and reducing runoff. Their removal could increase the risk of erosion, localized flooding, and drainage problems in an area that has already experienced such challenges. Beyond the environmental impacts, the proposal would significantly alter the character of Watson Street. The purpose of the severing is to replace one detached home with 2 lots containing duplexes, resulting in a minimum of 4 dwelling units where 1 currently exists. Watson Street is characterized by single-family detached homes on lots that differ in sizes. Introducing this level of intensification would be a clear departure from the established pattern of development and would fundamentally change the character of streetscape. While we recognize the need for additional housing, those objectives must be balanced with the responsibility to protect established neighborhood, preserve nature, mature tree canopy, and ensure that new development remains compatible with its surroundings. We are equally concerned about the precedent this approval would set, and that's precedent. 1 lot severing may appear modest, but repeated approvals gradually reshape a neighborhood through increased density, loss of green space, and the removal of mature trees. Over time, the character that residents value can be permanently eroded. As immediate neighbors, we would experience these impacts every day. The loss of mature trees would reduce privacy, remove a natural buffer between properties, and permanently alter the appearance and feel of our shared environment. For these reasons, we respectfully ask the committee to deny the application. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Kwan, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, madam. Madam Chair, through you, I am going to ask this lady. So many of you are here about the tree protection. And also we have a strong recommendation about this particular project and tree concern. Did you, any one of you had the connection or the contact with the Department of Forestry?
I believe that Bill contacted Urban Forestry and had a meeting with them, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Bill can speak of that.
Because, madam, I'm suggesting that if you had the connection with the department, you knew what their position is. And they are speaking and they have raised the question with the developer the same way as you are concerned. Eventually, it has to be resolved with them. Would you be satisfied one way or the other what they decide?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
I'm
I'm
gonna try to word it different. So I think what Mr. Khan is suggesting is the forestry is recommending conditions, as you know now. They're no
Yes.
longer refusing it. I
Mhm.
think the question is, does it satisfy you that forestry has put conditions in place and that that's how they have come to a resolution now
Mhm.
with, from their previous position? Is that what
That's
you're
right.
asking?
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you. I mean, if the conditions mean that some trees will be taken down and others be endangered, you know, we're willing to speak with them and to maybe understand better what the consequences would be, but the main goal here is to protect the trees that are there.
Yeah, I think just from the map previously, you were listening when Mr. Clay asked the question. So
Mhm.
the change is that they've gone from removing 4, there's only 2 now that are
Mhm.
proposed to be removed.
Mhm.
And the other very minor injury is what they're projecting.
And that for us, for me, I'll speak personally, and my husband as well, minor injury to a tree that's been, you know, that is mature is not acceptable. And if we can protect the 2 that are targeted to be put down, that's our goal. That's our goal.
Okay, understood. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, who would like to speak next?
My name is Bruce Breyer, and I'm the property owner at 3 Watson Street in Highland Creek, and I've been there for over 40 years, about 41 years. And we've seen some very strong changes in the manner in which houses have been built, and as I jokingly referred to one friend, I thought one residence looked like a funeral parlor. But in any event, I do not support the severance of 33 Watson Street into 2 residential units. I question the real environmental fallout, given the reality that trees will have to be removed or limbs cut to fit this proposed plan. Our community needs to respect, protect, and maintain as much greenery as we can. We must preserve our environment. Once a tree is removed or its limbs cut, I'm sure you realize this, shade is reduced and cooling contributes to higher local temperatures. Trees filter air pollutants and trap dust, so their loss can worsen air quality and impact public health, particularly for those with respiratory or cardiovascular conditions. We all are stewards of our environment. Let's keep it this way. I wanted to, if I might digress, and maybe it isn't digressing, it's a poem written by Joyce Kilmer, who was a gentleman who prepared the American Standard Dictionary and who sadly enlisted in the American forces and died in 1918 at the sad age of 32. It's simply entitled Trees. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast. A tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray. A tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair. Upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. God bless. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Any questions, panel members? No. Thank you, Mr. Byers. Okay, who's speaking next?
Hi there. My name is Morteza Mokhtari. I reside at 25 Willow Lee Drive. A few of my friends live on Watson across from the proposal. So I wanted to come speak based on the concerns they've raised, and I mean, to echo all the concerns of the other people that have spoken. These trees they're mature, they provide a lot of value, and to go from a more tangible approach, beneath the surface, tree is like an iceberg, right? The root system provides a lot of drainage. The root systems on these mature trees are huge, and the residents of this area deal with a lot of drainage issues, right? When we have these storms, we have these heavy rains, there's a lot of flooding. And the proposal, it's taking 2 very, very large trees with large root systems. There's going to be additional flooding, right? Because if you plant a little tree that's a few years old, it doesn't provide any drainage. That's the issue that's going to come if this goes ahead. So that's why we oppose it. And speaking to the builder and the gentleman, you met with someone, you talked about it, like, we want to work with you. There's ways to make this work. Why can't we work together? That's my question to the applicant. That's all I have. Thank you.
Could you, I know your first name is Morteza.
Yeah.
Could you just repeat your last name? And you said 25 Willow Lee.
Yeah, Morteza Mokhtari, Mokhtari, 25 Willow Lee Drive.
Okay, let me see if I got it right. Mokhtari.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions, any panel members? No? Okay, thanks. Hi.
Good morning, members of the committee, Madam Chair. My name is Brian Blakely. Together with my wife, Marianthe Uwanu, we reside at 22 Milroy Crescent, which is a 3-minute walk from the subject property. Just one question of clarification, I think, for myself and perhaps others. The agent for the property owner said duplex. The paper that I received from the committee says severing to 2 properties, both with single-family dwellings. So I assume that the committee's document is correct and that we are not talking any longer about duplex submission from the developer.
Okay, we can have him clarify
Thank you.
after, because there are no variances for any kind of structure at the moment, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to speak, or use my time to speak briefly and a little bit more in depth about the Dawn Redwood. So if we were sitting here 100 million years ago, we wouldn't be worried about Dawn Redwoods because they were quite prevalent at that time in the Northern Hemisphere based on fossil records. If we were sitting here 19 million years ago, there are no fossil records of Dawn Redwoods after 20 million years ago, according to information that I read on the internet. And I know that sounds really like a bad citation, but the next document is called The Living Fossil, which is from Harvard University Arboretum. So the Dawn Redwood was believed, and I'll say believed, I mean by Eurocentric botanists, to be extinct from 20 million years ago. In 1941, a Chinese botanist working in a remote area of China found a tree that he believed or she believed to be unique, and they documented that tree. A leading botanist in China at the time identified that tree as the Dawn Redwood. I'm not very good with Latin, so I'll stick with anglicized names. The Dawn Redwood tree was believed to be extinct since 20 million years ago, but was identified and classified in the 1940s in China. Once the classification was agreed to, it was put into a family of 3 types of trees in the world: the sequoia, the redwood, and the Dawn Redwood. The Dawn Redwood is the only member of that family that drops its leaves in the winter. So it looks like a coniferous tree when it has its leaves, but it drops the leaves. The other 2 trees, I think the sequoia and the redwood, are fairly familiar to all of us. Once the tree was identified, the botanists in China and the community made an effort to get those seeds out to the rest of the world, to areas where the tree would grow, because it was challenged in China, but it was extinct in the rest of the world. Fast forward to today, and we're asking you to ensure the protection of 2 specimens of this tree, one on each side of the property immediately adjacent to the subject property of 33 Watson, both of which are in healthy condition and are growing. There's a YouTube video from the Niagara Parks Commission who had 2 of these trees in their care. One of those trees was hit by lightning and suffered significant damage in a windstorm at around 2017, so they have 1. The Royal Botanical Gardens report online that they have 1 as well. The property immediately adjacent to this development has 2 of these trees. We need to protect them. You've heard the reasons around the water table. You've heard the reasons around greater protection within a colony of trees. This severance needs to be denied, and it needs to recognize that these trees are important, or the city has to find some way to ensure that these trees are protected. I thank you for your time and would be happy to answer any questions that I may be able to.
Can you just repeat the three offsprings of the Dawn Redwoods?
The
Because
three-
unless I'm missing something here, I went back to that map. So T7 and T3, the two trees that are being
Yeah,
removed, they're-
the second tree is on the north side of the driveway of the property, north of the tree, so it's not in the study area. So N3.
Okay, yeah, because I'm looking, the ones being
Yeah.
removed are not any of the ones you mentioned. It's a white spruce and a Norway maple.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
the N3 is the tree that is
All right,
in the study. The issue is the fact that that tree would then be subjected to the traumas associated and referenced by the other speakers with the
okay,
removal.
understood. Any other questions, panel members? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I believe that concludes the speakers. Is there anybody else who wants to speak? Seeing none. Okay, if I could go back to the agent, please. Mr. Lee?
Hi.
Hi, can you speak to the things that were mentioned? And also, I have a question. The existing driveway, there's no way to use that to minimize some of the impact on that side in your build? That's one of my questions. And then, of course, the other things you heard from the residents.
Right, so, sorry.
Yeah, it's echoing again.
All right, thank you so much for providing such valuable comments on our proposal. I just wanted to clarify that there are only 2 unhealthy trees that we are proposing to remove. And 3, the Dawn Redwood will be 5.8 meters away from our site from construction. It will not be impacted at all. And the other 2 trees, I believe T2 and T9, they will be preserved as well. They will not be removed because they are very healthy trees. And does that answer the question?
Well, not really. I mean, I think that the construction is going to impact some of the root base, which is a concern from the residents. So I guess if you could speak to that. But my question is, there was reference to 2 driveways, right? And there seems to be a thought by the community that it could be reconfigured, that you maybe only have 1 driveway to go into both properties to minimize, and maybe you could save another tree that way, I don't know. And then my question was, there's an existing driveway, and doesn't appear that you're using that. It appears you're moving yours slightly to the left if you're facing the houses you're building, so that's my question.
Sorry, can I ask the owner, if he's sitting right beside me, to answer this question?
Yeah, as long as he identifies himself for the record, that's fine.
Hi, myself Lee.
Sorry, what's your name?
Xiaofeng Li. He's the owner.
How do you spell that, please?
XIAO.
Okay. And then LI or EE?
FENG
Okay,
and LI.
okay, and the address?
33 Watson Street.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Lee.
I'm just gonna have to ask him in Mandarin, and then I'll be the translator if that's
All
okay.
right, fine.
我就2个驾到。
对啊，我们什么也讲，但是我们是会避开这个好处，你就看怎么避开好处。
Hi, my father said that it's our current it's in conflict with our proposal. It's almost impossible to use one single driveway that leads to garages, at least not to our ability.
Okay, and what about using the existing driveway to go to one of the units?
他说呢，如果用这个目前的驾道进其中一个车库，可不可以？
不可以。
No, it's not. We're not capable of doing that.
Okay,
Can
Mr.
we just ask, I think you raised a very good question. Can we just ask why? I mean, all you'd really have to do for that Part B dwelling would be to, instead of having a straight driveway, you'd have a curved driveway using the existing curb cut and reconfiguring that driveway with a little bit of a bend to it, which might actually preserve one of the trees you're planning to remove.
I'm sorry. We're only removing 2 unhealthy trees that are almost dead. There's no healthy tree that we're proposing to remove.
Right, but that way you would only be removing one tree. Well, I'm looking at the pit, they don't look dead to me, but, you know,
Well, I've
fine.
sorry. I've been negotiating with Urban Forestry, and according to their observation, that 2 of the trees that we're proposing to remove are very, very unhealthy, and even if we're not developing anything, we still have the right to remove 2 of the trees because they're very unhealthy and they're in danger. So that's
All right, well, I think, you know, we're asking these questions just, you know, to kind of maybe mitigate some of the concerns about the tree removals here. So if it's one less tree to remove, that's always a good thing, right?
And Madam Chair,
Ms. McCauley?
thank you. I'm a little confused as to what trees they are proposing to preserve. We have the map that's been, or the plan that's been on the overhead a couple of times, but it shows 6 trees to be deleted. Could we bring that map up, and would he identify, he says only 2 trees are being deleted? Would he then identify which 2?
If I can clarify what was talked about in the beginning. So number T7 and T3 are the ones being removed. Everything else stays.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the 2 toward
Okay,
the, on the left-hand side there.
So T7 is in the driveway. T6 and T5 are also in the driveway. Are they going to be removed?
I think so, because they're not in the they're under, I think, 30 diameter. Sorry, they're under 30 centimeters, so they're not being protected. That's I believe that's what Urban Forestry says.
So in fact, T6 and T5 and T7, all 3 of those are being removed.
Yes.
Okay. And then on the other side, you're showing T2 to T3, T7, and T9 to be removed. T9 is at the top end. Staff, can you put up the tree preservation plan, please? It would help all of us to make sure we're all looking at the same plan. So T9 is at the edge of the house. I'm assuming that's going to be removed. It says
No,
it's
T9
not.
will not be removed. Sorry, I have a sorry, can you scroll down a little bit?
So if I can just clarify, on the map that we have, which is not the updated map,
Through the chair.
T7 and T3 are being removed. And then can you just confirm T6 and T5? Are they the diameter that you don't need a permit for to remove?
Yes.
Okay,
T9 and T2 are remaining.
right.
Through the chair, the plan that's currently on the screen is the revised plan.
Okay, so the one on screen is the new plan that we didn't get.
and T3 is also in the driveway, and it's to be removed. And T2 is also to be removed?
No, T2 will not be removed.
Okay, but T3 will be removed because it's in the driveway.
And it's in poor condition, yes.
So in total, I've lost track here. How many trees are you removing?
You mean the trees that are like under, that requires a permit or does not?
No, I'm asking you, how many trees on this property are you removing?
4, T6, T5, T7, and T3.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I do want to just state again that 2 of these trees do not require a permit to remove. They can be removed as of right because they're under the diameter that requires a permit. I don't know, Mr. Howe, and then.
Yeah, it's great. We put the map up. I'm just looking at the map. I mean, T7 is a white spruce. It's considered beneficial in general. So I'm looking at the gap between T4 and T7. I'm wondering, couldn't the driveway be moved slightly to the south and somehow preserve T7? I think that's a possibility. So my question to the applicant is why can't that be done?
I'm sorry, can you simplify your question? I didn't really get that.
So looking at your configuration now for part 1, you have space to adjust your driveway further to the south to avoid T7. Why can't that be done?
Can I ask my father if you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
他问说，咱们这个北边的这个建设的这个车道，为什么不能往南移一点儿？这样的话就可以避开砍一棵树。有一棵树是不健康的。他现在问为什么咱们为什么不能把车道避开一点儿，把这个 Part A 的车道往南移？
那些设计师给我设计的，我得按设计师设计的导的嘛。我不可能说我随便，又不是我设计，设计师给设计的。
According to my father, everything was designed by the architect, and we couldn't really find other possible ways to design the driveway that's in our favor and also protects T7, especially when it's in unhealthy condition, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Have you asked your designer architect to do that adjustment, or is that just your opinion?
I've asked the designer actually. We've had several meetings with the designer and urban forestry, and this current plan is the final result that satisfy both our proposal and urban forestry's condition.
Okay, and Mr. Kwan, do you have a question still? Or?
Thank you, madam. Through you, I would like to ask Mr. Jackie Lee, sir, efforts on your behalf as well as the presence of all these people over here are concerned about the environment, saving trees, is genuine. It looks to me that probably somewhere down the line, the coordination between yourself and the public or the people over here has been minimal. Had you had a meeting with the presence of the urban forestry representative, I think the problem would have been solved long ago and these people wouldn't have been here and you would have been notified what to do. Now, I don't know how to suggest, except asking you a simple question. Did you ever meet these people or had a committee meeting?
No, I haven't. I have met the owner at 37 Watson Street, I believe, Mr. Bill. I believe. I've had a conversation with his wife, Lauren, I think, and we were discussing how to protect the N3, the Don Redwood. And then after negotiating with the Urban Forestry was asking for to stay 4.8 meters away, and then we added a extra meter of overdig, so that's 5.88 meters in total. That's all the neighbors that I've met.
Sir, that is appreciated. You met one person, but I have here the very first person who spoke is a representative of some sort of committee. And had you had the opportunity meeting them, it would have been gone viral and everybody would have been notified and more people would have been involved. Now, I'm short of words here to say, and I don't want to use. You have to redesign the driveway, you are saying, to save one of the trees. But what about the environment overall that these representatives or area representatives are talking about? How you will look at that?
I'm sorry, I might have not get the question.
Sir, my question is very humbly suggesting to you have a meeting, or if you had a meeting with these people, with the representative from the urban forestry, the problem would have been solved. But now the problem is here. What you are going to do?
This is my current proposal. I don't think I will be changing my current proposal, even though if I met the neighbors, I've changed the plan several times, and still we've been receiving complaints about like the noise. They don't like the noise. They don't like the dust and everything, and then especially about trees. We've made plenty of revision to our plans, and just to avoid damaging as many healthy trees as we can. And this current plan, we're not removing any healthy tree. So
Thank you.
that's all I can do on my side. Sorry.
All right, is there anything, I don't believe there's any more questions from the members. Is there anything else you want to address that was raised by the community?
That's it. That's pretty much it.
One question, Chair. Can we just call up the arborist report again, please? Guys, if we could go to the table. Just want to confirm. It's right there. So if we can go, so T3 is a Norway maple. What does the letter P stand for under condition?
Poor.
Poor?
Poor. Yeah, I just looked it up.
You looked it up. I was looking for the legend. I couldn't find the legend.
Finally found it, yeah.
Oh, fair. So good, fair, poor.
Yeah.
Okay, so T3 is what you're referring to, and it is poor, and T7 is the white spruce, and it is also poor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. All right, we're in committee. Ms. McCauley.
I am frustrated, probably as frustrated as the residents in the community. The desire is to keep the trees, but what we have in front of us is simply a consent application to sever the property. As a condition of consent, we can determine that tree preservation is highly desired, and can approve the tree preservation plan, or at least grant the condition of requiring the tree preservation plan to be approved. However, the one thing that we haven't done, and we're not able to do under a consent application, is look at the dwelling units itself. We've talked a couple of times about the driveways. We've got a double car driveway. We've got the previous plan. In fact, the plan with the trees on it that I'm looking at was to provide 4 dwelling units with a driveway sort of in the middle leading to a double car driveway and a double car driveway. As I said, we're not, we don't have the information here of the house plans. That will be a later decision. That will be a decision at the moment only up to the applicant and our building department to ensure that the building is in compliance with all the zoning bylaw. As I said, I'm frustrated. We're building big houses with double car driveways. We're trying to preserve the trees. And all we've really got in front of us is a consent application to divide the lot in half. I'm putting this forward as a frustration, whether maybe the committee members have a suggestion.
All right, and Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I would like to ask Mr. Lee. Sir, I would appreciate to know.
Okay, we're actually in committee. You have another question, so let's come out of committee then.
Okay, no,
Go
okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Ask your question.
Thank you, ma'am. I would appreciate to know the lot frontages, what are required. You are given us 1526 is yours, and lot area. Could you kindly give me those figures?
I'm sorry. Was there a question?
Sir, my question is, would you be kind enough to give me, for my information, lot frontage and lot area?
It's
on the presentation.
is it 15.26 meter frontage for each of the lots?
That is
Yes.
fine, ma'am, but I'm asking what is required.
So the zoning requirement for this zone, the minimum is 12 meters, and each of our new lots have 15.26. And then the lot area requirement is approximately 360, and ours will be 532.9 square meters.
260, you say?
532.9.
Thank you.
Since we're out of committee, can you just clarify, are you intending to build single-family homes or duplexes? Because one of the residents did raise that.
Right. So it's so this is a consent application for two lot compliant lots. So there's no variance for the frontage or the area. So duplex is a permitted building plan, so is single detached. And I just wanted to clarify, we're not proposing semi-detached. It's not going to be permitted. And whether it's duplex or single detached, I'm have to confirm with my father. It really depends on the cost of construction and everything else, but that building envelope will be the same.
All right, so you haven't made a decision yet on whether it's single-family homes or duplexes, right?
Yes.
Mr. Howe wants to ask you something else now.
Just a quick question, Mr. Lee. You currently have the right to apply to urban forestry to remove the poor conditions trees, even if you do not proceed with the consent to sever application. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
All right, is there any other questions before we go into committee? Okay, now, we heard Ms. McCauley's comments. Anybody else have anything to add? Mr. Howe?
Thank you, Chair. I can comment. I mean, I don't like the fact that the applicant is not preserving T7 by adjusting the driveway location. I think that is a possibility. However, as I asked earlier, I do appreciate the fact that the applicant currently has the right to apply to urban forestry, regardless of the consent to sever, to remove the two trees as of right due to poor condition. So in light of this, I don't see the urban forestry application should be a barrier to approving the consent application. The consent, I don't see any problem with it, and it wasn't something that we heard problems from the speakers here today as well, and it's something we considered last time. So that's where my view lies currently. Thank you.
I'll just add, I mean, I understand the frustration from the residents. You know, I think majority of us like to preserve trees wherever possible. I will say the applicant has made some forward movement from the last time, and they're only removing two trees now, which are labeled by the arborist study as being in poor condition. The other two trees, as I mentioned before, that are being removed, they could remove as of right anytime they want, because they are under the required diameter of the tree, so they don't even need a permit for this. This lot was 2 lots at one time. I don't know, you know, it's probably in my notes somewhere, but I can't remember when it was actually turned into 1 lot. The city, as everybody knows, is asking for intensification. I think we all know also that we are allowed to have 4plexes now on single-family lots. So whether it's 2 duplexes or single-family homes fits within where the city is going. You know, whether they're going to be building as of right, meaning without variances, that's remains to be seen. If they're not, if they're looking to build, you know, bigger, wider, longer than what's permitted, they're going to have to come back to this committee for variances, and we would have to look at it this time, at that time. Having said that, with what they have, you know, put forward now as, you know, possibility, I'm assuming that if they do want to go bigger, they're going to have to come for more tree removals, and I'm sure that that's not going to go over well with the committee and the community. So I agree with Mr. Howe. This is a simple variance now, and I have to take the arborist reports and forestry at you know, their expertise that these trees that they are proposing to remove are in fact in poor condition. So that's where, and Mr. Clay, do you have something?
Yeah, thanks. Well, first of all, overall, I would agree with both you and Eric. I think those are the points that I would raise. But I did want to make a couple of observations. First of all, thank you everyone for coming in, and thank you for speaking on this today. And I understand you were here previously, and what I would say to you is that your participation and your opinions and the way you voice them and express them have actually made a difference. This proposal is better than what was here before. So you should take some solace in the fact that your participation and your commentary on this has actually made some improvements. There have been 2 trees that were otherwise going to be removed. And I think because the community has rallied, this is a better proposal than what it was previously. The other observation I would make is that our experience as urban forestry is really pretty strict. They are under a council mandated direction to preserve wherever possible the tree canopy. And we see applications all the time where urban forestry is asking us to refuse because they are uncomfortable with the removal of trees. In this instance, because as Chair pointed out, you know, trees aren't in great condition, urban forestry appears to be satisfied. We take that very seriously. We take their input with the professional forestry folks in that division. We take it very seriously. And in situations like this, where they are recommending it could proceed with some conditions, that's important to us. And that, again, I think is a result of your participation flagging these issues in urban forestry, having a very close look. So notwithstanding what our decision is today, I think you and others who've been involved in this should take a little bit of comfort that you've made a bit of a difference. So thank you very much for that.
All right, anybody else? If not, I need a motion. Ms. McCauley.
Hey, Madam Chair. I need to clarify that what we're dealing with here really is only the consent application, which is the division of this lot into 2 lots, as it was originally. There are conditions. We've talked a lot about the forestry conditions, and that is desirable, that is a strong condition. There are conditions of construction in terms of engineering conditions. Those are standard conditions. The houses that are being or that will be built here, we don't know what houses they're going to be built. They had a proposal here for duplexes last time round. They've changed that, but the house type and the number of houses is not in front of us. All we know is that it's 2 lots and a number of trees to be preserved. So, Madam Chair, I put forth a motion to give approval to this consent application for 2 new lots with the frontage and lot area of 15.26 meters and 532.95 square meters, subject to the tree preservation clause, and I guess the most recent tree preservation report. The engineering review has no objections. There will be a standard engineering report. And they have an archaeological assessment that has been completed. I don't think that needs to be an additional condition anymore. So that is my recommendation. Recommend approval subject to those conditions.
Just to staff, heritage report should be included.
Those
correct?
conditions should be included. Whether they satisfied, Heritage can confirm that on their
Yeah.
own.
Okay, fine. We'll add that.
Okay, so I have a motion moved by Ms. McCauley to approve the application, including the heritage condition, forestry conditions 1, 2, and 3. And those are the only conditions. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Mr. Howe?
Thank you, Chair. I will second the motion, but I believe urban forestry conditions just 2 and 3, not 1.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Okay, forestry conditions 2 and 3 only. So moved by Ms. McCauley, seconded by Mr. Howe. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Let's go now to item number 2, which is 3291 Kingston Road. We have before us a public hearing notice, a map, plan of survey and plans, background letter from the agent, planning rationale from KLM Planning, traffic impact study, as well as a revised TDM plan prepared by Paradigm Transportation Solutions. Landscape drawings, we have advisory comments from planning and transportation, correspondence in support from number 214 Oak Ridge Drive, and opposition from 63 Scarborough Heights Boulevard. I'm showing one speaker online. Do we have the speaker and the agent online? Okay. Mr. Wyatt? Hello?
Hello. Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Rob Levecchia. I am the agent for the applicant. With
Okay.
KLM Planning Partners.
All right, I have one speaker on the line. Do you want to find out the concern first, or would you prefer to do a very brief presentation?
It's up to committee. I don't have a presentation prepared, but I can make some brief comments if that's helpful, or the individual online can provide their comments and I can respond. It's up to committee.
All right, I think maybe we'll go to the person online and see what the concerns are, and then you can respond.
Madam Chair, can I ask the applicant a question?
Yeah.
To the applicant, you have 16 variances, which are technical from poor drafting of the zoning bylaw. Did you review the zoning bylaw before council's approval?
We received a version of the bylaw before it was approved. We provided comments, and the comments were never taken into effect. So the wrong bylaw was effectively approved.
Okay, and so that's why we have 16 variances. Were there,
I think it's, sorry to interrupt you. I think it's that and difference of opinion between zoning examiners over the time that has passed. Certain exclusions, GFA exclusions aren't the same as they were, I guess, when plans were reviewed previously as well. So it's a bit of both.
okay, thank you.
Okay, to staff, just as a side note, can somebody help Mr. Clay with a technical issue here? All right. Could I have the resident, please? And then we'll hear the concerns, and then we'll go back to the agent. Are you after? Sure. Okay.
Hello, my name is Antonio Di Tullio. I reside at 6 Windy Ridge Drive with my wife and 2 children. We're the most immediately and significantly affected property. About 50% of our property lines are surrounded by the proposed development. We were parties at the OLT hearing, and we had come to a negotiated settlement with the plans that you see before you, including the landscape plans. Our issue is primarily with variance 9 regarding the 7.5 meter soft landscaping strip. It seemed that the bylaw examiner decided to take a binary approach and in essence excluded it in its entirety, which we think is incorrect. It should have, a scalpel perhaps would have achieved something more appropriate. That said, we've spoken with LCH and they've been cooperative, and as have we. And we just want to make sure that our concerns are addressed, primarily because we have many bordering trees. There are stormwater management issues that we are concerned with, and the agreed upon plans at the OLT that you see before you address those concerns. And notwithstanding that variance 9 is a little too broad in our opinion, LCH in their cover letter to you dated May 27, 2026, has requested, if you look at, I think it's page 3 on MV9, their wording, we would suggest the committee add a condition of MV approval requiring strict conformance with the submitted landscape plans, as it will give the residents of 6 Windy Ridge comfort that the approval and agreed upon landscape buffer would remain. And so we respectfully request that the committee adhere to that request, and we are echoing the same request that the applicant has put forward. And I think more generally on their cover page, they've also requested, I think in the 4th last paragraph from the bottom, in further coordination with the immediate neighbors and the Residents Association, we're asking the committee impose conditions requiring substantial conformance to the submitted site plan, landscape plan, and tree protection plan. So again, we echo those requests, but our most immediate concern relates to MV9, and we would ask that it be in strict conformance because, the parties, ourselves included and LCH included, we went through a lot of pain, time, and effort to arrive at the plans and the built form that was agreed upon at the OLT. And so we just want to make sure that, notwithstanding that the variances that are requested are sadly in many cases fairly binary, that they have conditions that tie them specifically to the submitted plans as part of this application. Because again, that'll give us comfort that if the applicant goes away for whatever reason, anybody who steps into those shoes would have to restart the process in essence, and not be able to basically pave up to our lot lines in the side and rear. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. If we could go back to the agent, please.
Good morning, members of the committee. Further to the comments from our neighbor, that is all correct. The owners are proposing that and are comfortable with the approval being tied to the architectural plans, landscape plans, and tree protection plan. The zoning examiner did take a very I don't know what the right word is, but not a very finessed approach to wording the variance. We are providing a landscape strip. We are providing 7.5 meters of landscaping. It's a mix of hard and soft. We need a retaining wall that's in there, unfortunately. There's a walkway that also encroaches slightly into that space, and some bicycle parking and a vehicle turnaround that are required for the function of the building. And that was also something that we sort of had negotiated with the neighbors to avoid vehicular access from Windy Ridge, to sort of have this other access and circulation arrangement. I think we're satisfied with the conditions as they are. I've read the staff report, and I agree with planning staff that these are all technical in nature. I've laid out how the application meets the 4 tests of the minor variance under the Planning Act, and I'm happy to answer any other questions from the public or committee.
All right, so if we, so the condition you're proposing that we put on should be that we tie it to the landscape plans, site plan, and tree protection plans.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Khan has a question for you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. My question is very simple. OLT has approved variances number 1 through number 7. And number 8 is my concern, and also my concern is number 9. Partly you have touched on this on number 8 and number 9, but I'm going to ask, you are slightly over than the maximum allowed by 22,381 meters square. That's the maximum, but you are asking 22,914 meters square, which is slightly over. And number 9, I'm just combining it. Soft landscape, 3 meter strip all around, and asking is 7.5. How do you resolve this?
So through the chair, with respect to variance number 8, if you refer to pages 2 into 3 of the city planning report, it sort of breaks down where that discrepancy comes from. I think part of the issue here is that the grade changes across this site from Windy Ridge towards the interior lot line at the east edge, and the building on the first floor is at grade at Windy Ridge and Kingston Road, and at the other end of the frontage on Kingston Road, it's partially below grade. So we have a split level. It's sort of the bolt form and that location is broken up by the driveway. But ultimately, you have a first floor that is partially underground, that is partially accommodated parking. Previous zoning examiners excluded those areas from the total GFA, as is typical, where you have a total gross constructible area, and then you have deductions that are allowed through the bylaw that then you end up with your gross floor area. And so the discrepancy in the way that has been calculated is the result, is why there is a difference in the number. I think as well, if you, in the community planning staff report, it also alludes to the fact that really the whole idea here behind this, the negotiated settlement, was to provide the 3 meters of soft landscaping with a continuous row of trees abutting 6 Windy Drive, and then to preclude the opportunity for walkways and other accesses in that location. And that's why there was some wording with respect to there being only soft landscaping. The problem being retaining walls are not soft landscaping, and the interior vehicle circulation encroaches into a 7.5 meter landscape strip, whereas it does not encroach into a 3 meter landscape strip. That was again an error in the way the bylaw was written. The drawings that are before committee are the exact same drawings that were approved and that were settled on through the OLT hearing. There is no change to the plans. It's simply the instruments were incorrectly approved.
Sir, I would like to know in a few words, 22,381 meters square was approved. Is it amendment?
Sorry, just repeat the last part.
Sir, my question is that 22,381 meters square was approved previously, and you're increasing to 22,914. Should I understand it is an amendment on your behalf?
No, it's no change to the drawings. It's a change in the way the calculation is done.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else, any questions? Okay, sir, anything else you want to add before we go into committee?
I have nothing else to add. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Okay, panel members, we're in committee. Comments? Mr. Howe?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Reading from Community Planning's report, I'm pretty satisfied that this is a technical variance in nature. And it meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act. And I would move approval, subject to that the applicant shall be constructed in accordance with the site plan as submitted, landscape plan, and the tree protection plan that's been submitted in today's application.
All right, so there's a motion before us, moved by Mr. Howe, to approve the application with the condition that it's tied to landscape plan, site plan, tree protection plans. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Clay. All right, all in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you. Your application's approved. Item number 3, 17 Dennett Drive. We have before us a public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans. It's an amended application. They've revised it by deleting variance number 2, and number 6 is now changed to 11.45 meters squared. Supporting materials from the agent. And we had a planning report that was recommending refusal. However, with the changes, I think planning is now okay with this application. I'm not showing any speakers. Is the agent on the line?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Jonathan Bitskowski, 301 Keewatin Avenue.
Good morning. Let me just check. Is there anybody in the audience for 17 Dennett Drive? Seeing none. Good morning, sir. I don't think we need a presentation. Panel members, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bitskowski? We're good to go. Anything you want to add before we go into committee?
Nope, just the 2 changes you noted, Madam Chair.
All right. Thanks. Panel members, we're in committee. Mr. Khan.
Madam, here's a question or what?
Oh,
Or-
we're in committee. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Did you want to move a motion or?
No, okay, I can move motion.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, madam. We have 8 variances in front of us. Number 2 has been deleted and number 6 has been amended to 11.45 meters square. Based on that, I see that this is minor in nature and it complies the 4 tests and it is amended. So therefore, I move this application be approved with forestry conditions.
There's no forestry conditions that I'm aware of. Staff, just confirm. Is there or is, do you?
Through the chair, there are, my apologies, there are forestry conditions.
All right, very good. So plus forestry. Do I have a seconder for that? Ms. McCauley.
I will second that motion.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the application, including forestry condition, the application as amended, deleting variance number 2, revising number 6 to 11.45 meters squared. Moved by Mr. Khan, seconded by Ms. McCauley. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thanks. Item number 4, 44 GOLFHAVEN Drive. We have before us public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans. We have tree and site photos, presentation materials from the agent. We have a 2 signature petition in support that includes the adjacent neighbor at number 42. And planning has a condition that variance number 2 be revised to read 19.5 meters and forestry conditions. I'm not showing any speakers online. Is there anybody here that wants to speak to 44 GOLFHAVEN Drive? Seeing none, do we have the agent online?
Yes, my name is Mubarak Kanazoe. I am the speaker for 44 GOLFHAVEN Drive.
Hi, sir. Were you aware of the, the planning condition?
Yes, we are aware of the planning conditions, but I would like to take a chance to request this variance to be approved because the owner is very particular about the building cost and how the outcome of the number of bedroom and living space he would like to achieve due to the site, the building form and yeah, site conditions.
All right, anybody have any questions for the agent? Mr. Khan has a question for you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. My only concern is variance number 4, where the setback, rear setback is 3.66 as against a requirement of 8.15. What do you say about that?
It's a question to me.
Yes, sir. That's question to you.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much, Chair, for your question. So with this variance, this is the only variance we are challenging with. So without this variance, it will really impact our building area and the number of living space, the area of living space throughout all stories. So we are requesting this variance because it's really gonna give grant the best value of our building, and with regard to the investment that the owner is putting in, we think it's gonna make a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yep.
So can we just clarify, you are opposed to what community planning is recommending to us?
Yes, we had a meeting with the committee of the planning department. So they also are recommending if we are open to reduce to 19.5, and the owner is. We also have revised our plans, and due to the narrow lane that we are building, our stairs are being located right behind the existing unit, which also needs some landing both sides. And we are only limited to the minimum requirement of landing to have access to the top floor and access to the basement. So we are not going forward. It's only because of the stairs that we are putting straight behind the existing building, and that will give us reasonable space and reasonable height for space requirement or for this new addition.
No, I understand. I think I understand what you're saying, but I want to be abundantly clear. Planning is recommending that we reduce the length, and you would like to keep the 20.83 meters
Yes.
for the reasons you just outlined.
Yes.
It mostly deals with you want to maximize your livable space.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else have any questions?
We wanted to maximize the livable space, and because we have only area we can put the stairs, if we put the stairs because the building is narrow, we can only put the stairs where it is right now, and we have like a straight staircase. So if we put the stairs in any other location, it will really have a negative impact, and all the space will be very uncomfortable and not make a lot of sense.
Madam Chair.
Yep, Ms. McCauley.
To the applicant, did you have any discussions with the neighbor to the north, number 46?
I hadn't had a chance to meet the neighbor, but I will let we had a chance to, we had a letter from the other neighbor, but I would let the owners respond to that question. Hello, Satya.
Through the chair, Sathya, we see that you're signed in, but you don't have any microphone connected, so we can't unmute you. Please connect a microphone so you can speak. The chair, we cannot unmute Santa as they do not have a microphone connected.
All right, sir, we can't get the owner on the line.
Okay.
Okay. The owner was unable to unmute himself for some technical issues. Yeah, I just had a call with him. He mentioned that he was not able to join his neighbor because of availability reason. He's not consistently at home, and he only had a chance to speak to the other neighbors from which he got a signature and consent from.
Okay. I'm not sure who had the mobility issues, the owner or the neighbor, but obviously there was no communication with the neighbor to the north, number 46. And in addition, that neighbor has not issued any concerns to us. Looking at the property backs onto a commercial plaza. So the additional length, the only impact would be on the neighbor to the north. If the neighbor to the north has not indicated a concern, I don't see any concern with this application. If there's no further comments, I'm prepared to recommend that the application as requested.
All right, anybody have any other questions? Mr. Kanazu, anything you want to add before we make a decision on this?
Nope.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. McCauley.
Okay, I recommend approval of this application for as submitted with the side yard, rear yard, and front yard setback. I am not including the community planning condition to reduce the building length. There are urban forestry conditions. So,
all right,
approval of the application subject to urban forestry conditions.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion?
I will second the motion.
I have a motion to approve the application, including forestry condition number 2, moved by Ms. McCauley, seconded by Mr. Plum. All in favor? Okay, opposed? Okay, Mr. Howe dissents. All right, your application is approved. Item number 5, 22 APSCO Avenue. We have before us public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans, site photos, advisory information from project analyst, Metrolinx, and we have 3 variances before us. Okay, is there anybody in the audience on this file? Are you the agent?
I'm the owner.
You're the owner. And let me just check my sheet here. Okay, I'm not showing any other speakers online. Sir, can you identify yourself for the record, please?
My name is Hassan Khandakar. I'm the owner of 22 APSCO Avenue, Scarborough.
Okay,
And-
I don't think we need a presentation, but are there any questions, panel members? Mr. Clay?
Yeah, so, so it looks like this was built without the appropriate permissions and a building permit. So maybe you could tell us what's happened, how was this constructed without the appropriate authorization?
Well, I have a friend who lives in Mississauga. I went to their home and they have a house built like that and a room. And I have two kids growing up that area, and their friends come to my home, and that encouraged me to build. And I asked him, he said, yeah, you can build it. And he helped me to build it. And then after that, I realized that I needed a permit. And then when the city showed up, obviously, then I know I did a mistake and without knowing this, and
So your friend from Mississauga came and built it for you without a permit?
basically, yes,
Or
he
did you use a contractor? Did you have a contractor on site?
well, he is a builder himself, but he, as a friend, helped me out with a very low cost. Yes.
Okay. And is it an addition or it's called a sunroom, is it?
Yes, it's kind of sun. We had a deck last 10, 15, or 12 years, and there was with the, what do you call, rooftop. The kids always hang around, and summertime I wrap it up with the plastic, thick plastic, so kids hang around and play there. All their friends come in there. So when I see that, that encouraged me to, for the whole winter, they can hang around in that room. That was the whole purpose for the kids to stay in the house, and their friends comes and play. That's what all the reason was.
I get that. So is it heated, like it's 4 season?
No, it's not.
Okay. So it's not, you don't have heating
No,
ducts up
no,
there.
we have the like fan or something from the inside to blow that room, or it worked for the kids with the sweater and the jacket. They hang there too. Yeah, we haven't get that yet. So,
All right, thanks.
Mr. Khan?
Thank you, madam. Through you. Sir, I would like to know, although you are here for legalization, but my concern is, has it been looked at by some engineer for the snow load, because this addition is lower than the existing house. So there is a snow load factor. Is it looked at by some engineer before the building department?
yes, we hired a company, that gentleman working with us, architect and designer and everybody. Now they submitted to the city all this paperwork, and the person who built it, he's a builder, so it's high, and roof and everything was done properly there.
So you had the building department approval?
But this is the first step.
Thank you.
Mr. Howe?
Just a quick question. When was it built? When was it completed?
Sorry?
When was the sunroom completed, built?
Well, the deck was there for like at least 12 years, 14 years. But the roof, just the house was, the room is covered by the drywall and the windows. So it's like 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Anything you want to add before we make a decision on this, sir?
Well, I know what we did is wrong, and I'm asking for mercy, and my kids can enjoy, and family can enjoy, and the cost wise to change any, modify anything is pretty expensive right now. If we can keep it that way and go on and enjoy our life, and we have engineer working and architect working with us, any kind of, we'll adjust it. So that's all. I appreciate your cooperation.
Just before we go into committee, how'd your neighbors feel about it? Do you know? Your neighbors, were they
Well,
upset?
there was 12 years, there's no issues. And
It's 2 years since you built the,
well, there's no issue. Nobody came and told me or asked me any complaint. And I asked the neighbors, and one of them already sent an email probably. And I don't have no neighbors. I am in the last house that I've been, just one in the front, the side, and one in the back, and the
Right.
rail track in the front. So there was not much issue there.
all right, okay, we're in committee then. Mr. Howe?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, we don't condone building without a permit, but looking at the variances before me, it looks minor and meets the 4 test of the Planning Act. We received no report, no objections from community planning and other city agencies, so I'm prepared to move approval with no conditions.
All right, do I have a second?
Let's second that, but with a comment. I think you'd agree that I'm always astounded when someone does this kind of an addition onto the house by a contractor, by a builder who frankly should know better. I mean, I get the point that you said he didn't know.
He built his,
Builders know when there's a permit.
well, he's
so
not a builder. He's like a more renovation guy.
Still, I mean, that's no excuse. He should know. Eric's right. We don't condone this, so
Right.
we will let it, I think, second it. But can we put a for the record? Do we do for the record here? That the committee doesn't, we don't do for the records?
The recording is for the record.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'll second the motion then.
All right, so I guess the message is don't do it again. Okay.
Anyone else?
Yeah, all right, so we have a motion to approve the application moved by Mr. Howe, seconded by Mr. Clay. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks. Item number 6, 2771 and 2773 Victoria Park Avenue. We have before us a public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey, and plans. This is a revised application. Variance number 8 has been changed to 1.9 meters. We have site photos, arborist report prepared by Coons Forestry Consulting Limited, cover letter from Profile Development, a planning justification letter from Bahar Planning and Design Limited. We have community planning asking for conditions and opposition from 107 Fair Glen Avenue. Okay, I am showing some speakers virtually. Is there anybody in the audience for 2771 and 2773 Victoria Park Avenue? Seeing none. Do we have the all the opposition speakers online as well as the agent?
Through the chair, we have all of the opposition except for Omar Khan. We don't have access to unmute you. So if you'd like to sign out, sign back in so that we can. In the meantime, we can listen to the other speakers.
All right, so we only have one opposition speaker online right now. Could you give us the agent, please?
Good
Through the
morning, Madam
chair.
Chair. Can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Madam Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Wonderful.
Okay, go ahead. Can you give us a brief presentation? We actually had 2 speakers listed. One is online and we're trying to get the other one.
Certainly.
Yeah, and I
thank you
need
very
you
much.
to identify yourself first.
Of course. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of committee. My name is Chris Pereira. I am the principal of Bahar Planning and Design Limited. We are the planning and urban design consultants for the owner of the property at 2771 and 2773 Victoria Park Avenue. Some quick backgrounds. On April 8, 2024, City of Toronto Council approved Bylaw 392-2024, which had the effect of approving a 4-story stacked back-to-back townhouse building containing a maximum of 62 residential dwelling units. This file was subject to Bill 109 timelines, and the accelerated timeline for approval, while a positive thing, also meant that this bylaw was approved well in advance of moving through any site plan level of detail. So as we move through the more detailed, very design-specific processes, some issues have come up while trying to implement the overall proposal as approved by council. So there are a variety of variances, as you can see, and staff have outlined them very clearly. I'm not going to go through each one by one because I don't think I have the time to, but suffice it to say that through the site plan process, you know, for example, variance 1, we're talking about minimum landscaping, the inclusion of additional walkways, at-grade outdoor amenity space, which came up, has impacted that. Dwelling units being below grade for one of the second variants. Again, no changes since the initial approval. The objective was really to introduce larger and more family-sized units. Variances 3 and 4 tied to the mechanical penthouse. Again, it is a mechanical room and stair access to the rooftop amenity, which has not changed since the initial application. Variances associated with accessible parking, again, resulting from a few site plan items, transformer pads, additional outdoor amenity, landscaping, impacted the geometry of the site. As such, some of the dimensions were impacted. Lastly, variances 6 through 9, all associated with bike parking within the interior of the building. And through detailed design input, specifically mechanical and water meter rooms have shrunk the initial geometry of some of those spaces, resulting in some of the dimensional changes that are outlined on the screen for us today. I should note that we do acknowledge staff comment on variance 8, and we are in agreement with that change. We believe, Madam Chair, that the proposal conforms to the general intent of the official plan as a permitted use. We believe that the proposal conforms with the general intent of the approved zoning bylaw with site plan level of revisions. We believe that the proposal continues to represent the appropriate development of the lands. It is minor in nature, as the relief being sought would result in implementing an approved development on a site plan basis. As I said, we have read the staff report, and we do agree to revision to variance 8. In conclusion, we believe that the application before committee today certainly meets the 4 tests of minor variance, while also providing a very modest form of intensification in a manner consistent with the official plan. I'm available to answer any questions that may be directed, so thank you very much for your time.
Hey, Ms. McCauley has a question before I go to the opposition and Mr. Khan.
Thank you. This is a variance application. There's 9 variances. This whole thing was done by way of a waiver. Now, we've got you got a council approval in April of 2024. You worked on the site plan. You submitted a site plan. You're now at the stage of realizing that the site plan that you submitted doesn't meet the zoning bylaw requirements. I don't have a lot of problems with the detailed site plan or with the detailed variances, but I am concerned that from the council approval to now, you need 9 variances. And my question to you is, how did you determine that these 9 variances are sufficient to lead you to a building permit?
Through you, Madam Chair, to Member McCauley. So while a waiver was submitted, zoning reviews were done, and I believe multiple zoning reviews were done by my client. While we were waiting for, I believe, a final one, my client decided that he felt comfortable enough with the conversations that he was having with the building department to that point where he felt comfortable enough to proceed with a waiver. So to answer the question, I guess this is not happening in a vacuum. We've had a lot of ongoing and multiple reviews by zoning staff in the building department, and my client and I guess us as a team, we do feel comfortable that this will kind of allow the approval to be constructed and built out in the manner that it was intended and approved.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. Sir, my question is very simple. Variance number 1, you are saying lot landscape 13%, required is 20%. Where? What is the location?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So if we can maybe bring up the site plan if staff have that, but I guess the question is the question, where is the 13% located on the plans?
Sir, is it front, back, side, north, east, west? I mean, location.
Through you, Madam Chair, the landscape locations are really across the entire site. Typically, especially with sites like this in intensification settings, the landscaping is predominantly along the site perimeters, along the landscape buffers, in the front yard setbacks. So that is where you can see the areas highlighted in kind of that greenish tone on the map. You can see where some of those landscaped areas are. So it's to answer your question, it's north, east, south, west property lines and along site perimeters.
Okay, thank you. Now my next question is, variance number 1, 2, 3, 4, they are not minor. How do you justify?
Well, each one is unique and they have their own justification. So, Madam Chair, so for example, on variance 1, as I said, through discussions with staff and through ongoing conversations, you know, something like the outdoor amenity space, which has now been placed at grade within the setback to between Huntingwood and the property line, got introduced after the zoning bylaw was approved, the exact locations, which impacted the percentage of landscaping. And as I had mentioned during my presentation, there was reasons for each and every variance that we are seeking. So, in a perfect world, would we and my client would be the first one to admit he would love to have known this stuff at the time, but both staff and my client were faced with an impossible decision, which is this needed to go to council or else staff had to return application fees, which is never going to happen. So staff were faced with an impossible decision, and my client was also faced with an impossible decision, and we had no choice but to proceed with the approval. In a perfect world, could we have held that back maybe a couple of months even, and even worked out some of these issues? Of course, but that would have passed the threshold of the 120 days at that time. Those rules have since been amended, but at the time, that's what we were dealing with. So unfortunately, at the time when the bylaw was approved, we simply did not have a lot of this information. And simply the detailed design, like I said, the water meter rooms, a lot of that stuff hadn't been fully flushed out yet, resulting in now, you know, these variances before committee to implement truly the intent of the bylaw, which hasn't changed. In no instance is my client seeking more density, more units, more height. It's really just to implement technical circulation comments that we've received through the process.
Council has approved 4-story, 62 units. When was it?
Through you, Madam Chair, that was approved in 2023. Sorry, excuse me, 2024 through bylaw 392.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Pereira, I'm going to go to the opposition now, and then we'll have you back.
Muted.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, I need your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, we're Amelia and Emily Pegu, and we're at 105 Fairglen Avenue.
Okay, you have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. So we both work professionally in architecture, urban planning, and building science, and we've been following this project since 2024. We're back today because the design proposal is still concerning. Next slide. In 2024, this development was approved with conditions on green space, height, and setbacks because of the community concerns and, from city staff and community. Today, the applicant is asking to further cut down city minimums to maximize marketing the lot. Today will show that each of the 9 variances failed to meet the city conditions for approval. Beyond this site and project, the city report says that this development will set a precedence for future development in the area. To design in compliance with the bare minimum is to design the worst building legally possible. Next slide. Under the Planning Act, every variance must pass all 4 tests. Is it minor? Is it desirable? Does it maintain the intent of the zoning bylaw and official plan? Next slide. This table demonstrates the approval conditions being stripped down. The left column is the existing city standard in green. The middle in yellow is what was approved in 2024. And the right is the disturbing new proposal. So looking at the last column specifically, where it says deviation, you can see that in almost every category, the applicant is asking for quite major deviations. Next slide. Variance 1, for example, reduces landscaping by 35%. So at 13% landscaping, this obliterates any green space and the ability to continue the mature tree canopy that's currently on Huntingwood Drive. Next slide. Next slide. On variance 2, below-grade units are not currently permitted for good reason. The below-grade room is set barely 3 meters from the sidewalk, as you can see in diagram 2, with no ease from public to private realm. There's insignificant natural light or outdoor space for these residents. And just think about the winter, piles of snow would cover the full setback. That's the view from your front door and your unit window. That's barely livable, and it's a way to squeeze more floor area out of a lot that cannot support it. When you consider how little space there is between the building and the street, variance 2 creates subpar units and makes the setback problem worse than before. Next slide. The applicant maintains that the 5th story is a mechanical penthouse, which is contradicted in their renders and drawings. Sorry, could you go to the next slide, please? The city's 2024 decision already flagged it because it would create the impression of a 5th story, with the height not being permitted for this neighborhood designation. Now, variances 3 and 4 are asking to make that still sneaky 5th story 50% larger with 200% more street-facing wall coverage than the standard allows. Next slide, please. So you can see here that this is clearly a 5th story with occupied space. There's people on the balconies and the terrace, and it's still being glossed over 2 years later. So how can a 50% rooftop variance be approved when it's being misrepresented? Next slide, please. The proposed building is 3 stories taller than the school across the street, and any building over 2 stories in the whole vicinity have large setbacks that create vital green space. In neighborhoods like this, the city calls for gentle densification. This mid-rise condo, which is not a stacked townhouse that it's marketed as, is not gentle and doesn't respect the existing physical characters. What actually faces Victoria Park is service space, a fence, and an unsightly 5-story wall with uneven windows. That's the first impression that this neighborhood or anyone arriving from the west will get of this building, and it's just a sad main entrance for the residence itself. This is a hideous afterthought facing a major road and a welcome to Scarborough from Victoria Park. Next slide. This will be talked about with Omar, I believe. Next slide. To summarize the applicant's justification letter, it's just 3 paragraphs that says the same thing in different ways, which is that this should be approved because the project's already been approved previously. The letter adds that these variances exist because of the pressure of provincial approval timelines, but that's not a justification, and frankly, it's no one else's problem to absorb. Next slide, please. We're asking you to draw the line because if something is going to be added to this community, it should be done right and with care, and to do it with real consideration for the people who already live here and the ones that we're welcoming in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Panel members, any questions for the speaker? Seeing none. Thank you very much for your presentation. Were you able to reach Omar?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir, go ahead. We need your name and address for the record, and then you have 5 minutes.
My name is Omar Khan. I live at 20A Leafield Drive, and I'd like to talk about some of the accessibility issues. I am a caregiver and I work with people who have accessibility needs. And I have concerns with variance number 5. Please do not shrink the width of the accessible parking space. The accessibility standards of Canada and the American Disability Act say you actually need 1.5 meters of space to perform the proper type of T-turns that you need to get an individual, an adult, in and out of a vehicle that's parked. And right now, the average size of a vehicle that can support a full-size wheelchair, an average vehicle is about 2 meters in width. So 1.5 meters plus 2 meters is 3.5 meters. And the parking space is being shrunk down to 3.4, so that's smaller. And this means you're going to be flush. You're going to be parking your vehicle right on the line. So if you have a passenger, they will not be able to open their door without hitting a car next to them. And if you are the driver and your person you're giving care to or is in a wheelchair, you can't open your door because you're parked on against the other line. So the bylaw is 3.9 meters for a reason. Because of accessibility, I cannot get someone in and out with a narrow space like that. So approving this shrinkage is just a message that individuals with disability just do not matter. And we're going to bypass all that accessibility when it's inconvenient or when it compromises our ability to kind of profit. And I think this condo should really respect this issue, and please preserve the 3.9 meters because it's 3.9 meters for a reason. It gives you space to get someone in and out, and it also gives your passenger space to open their doors. All right. And then regarding the bicycle variances, the variances for around the bicycle storage, I commute by bicycle to the subway, and I have some big concerns about this. This building is being kind of partly marketed, or we're told to City Council that it's going to help people choose to not drive because there's limited parking. And people still need mobility, and bicycles are a great way to get around. But the limited amount of the 0% oversized bicycle parking spots is a real big problem, because if you don't have a car and you have a family or you need to go groceries, you're going to have an oversized bicycle. You're going to have a trailer or baby carrier or something else like that. And you need space for this. We need utility if we're being expected to give up cars. It has to be usable. And this is not usable because oversized bikes need space. And it's difficult to raise an oversized bike overhead for the stacked parking. So this is a problem. We need to have oversized parking, and only 3% of spaces are not stacked. This type of condo is probably going to appeal to people downsizing, so maybe older people, but then also young families. And they're going to be children who have bicycles and older people who have bicycles. Expecting them to lift and bring down bicycles all the time because these are stacked is going to be another usability issue. And again, this is not in the spirit of getting people out of their cars. We need to make sure that if we're forcing people out of their cars and giving them that opportunity to do something else, it has to be usable. Otherwise, this is not good type of housing, right? This is not going to be attractive to people. This is not going to help our communities. And this, I'm glad to see that the aisle space is going to be remedied, but again, the aisle space should be 2.5 meters, and that there's a reason for that. Lifting and twisting and turning and moving a bicycle, like, you need extra space to do that. Having a very narrow aisle makes it very difficult to lift up your bicycle and turn it, get it up and down from the aisle. Also, if you have an oversized bike or you are trying to assemble a trailer, there is no space for that. That's inappropriate. So again, is this usable? Does this have utility? No. Is it disregarding basic protections for people who have disabilities? Yes. And I think that these are kind of examples of how, usability and accessibility have just become disposable with this application. I'm very concerned about that. So please preserve those bylaws, what they've asked, and just think about, are we making good quality housing that people need and want? And are we respecting people and giving accommodations to people who need it? So that's my 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Anybody have any questions for the speaker? Seeing none, okay. Thank you, Mr. Khan. Can I have Mr. Pereira back, please?
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning. Can you please address the issues that were raised by the speakers?
Certainly. So I think I'll start with the most recent comments by the gentleman. So starting with the accessible parking. So it's a good question. So if we look at the site plan, actually, we'll notice that while the spaces are 3.4 or are proposed to be 3.4, there is a 1.5 meter shared kind of hatched area, which is designed to address exactly his concern about the opening of doors or wheel trans or other aspects. This is shown on the plan. So we have a hatched demarcated 1.5 meter strip between those two spots, which is designed exactly to achieve the intent outlined by the gentleman. So it's not a case where we are expecting 3.4 meters to be the extent of the parking, as is common practice for handicap parking or accessible parking. There's often this strip of land between two spots precisely to achieve the desired intent. Moving on to the bike parking questions. Again, this is entirely contained within the interior of the building, which impacts nobody surrounding the proposal. But if we're talking about commentary on the usability of them and how, you know, he envisions them being used, I would suggest that usability is dependent on the user, and if a user isn't content with what he sees, then he simply wouldn't purchase the unit. So I believe that is really a marketing consideration by the owner. And if they feel comfortable selling the units, given the bike parking arrangement, then I believe that should be a marketing consideration for the owner. Moving to the previous commentary, which was more about stories and heights and etc. Again, I would say through you, Madam Chair, that the mechanical room is not a story. It's not a story under the zoning bylaw. It's not a story under the building code. There is no version of this conversation where that is determined to be a story. Again, there was reference to, I believe, this being a mid-rise building. Again, not a mid-rise building. We have a 4-story building within a neighborhood, 4-story designation. This is precisely the type of intensification envisioned by the official plan that has frontage onto arterial roads. I believe I covered off everything, Madam Chair. There might be some follow-up, which I'm pleased to continue discussing.
Okay, let's see if the panel members have any questions. Anybody? No? Okay, if there are no questions, then we'll take it into committee for a decision. Mr. Clay.
Thanks, Chair. I understand some of the concerns raised by those two speakers that were in opposition. However, this is an application which was, for all intents and purposes, more or less approved already. The variances before us, quite frankly, are just modifications that that come through an evolutionary process after you do site plan, little tweaks, little technical amendments. I don't think that it measurably changes, you know, the building envelope, nor does it really change the impact on the surrounding neighborhood. And I would note that this is on a major road, and the land assembly has already taken place, and the frontage of both those units that are in the second, third, and fourth stories and the terrace on the top front major roads and aren't overlooking into anyone's really backyard, front yard. It is the kind of accommodation that I think council's trying to achieve. It's a corner lot. I don't see any real challenge. I think it's a pretty good proposal. I think it's supportable.
Okay, anybody else, anything to add? If not,
I'm happy to move a motion then, Chair. I will, the revised plans deal with planning
Yeah.
condition, right?
correct.
So I'll just move a motion to approve this application. I don't believe there are any other conditions.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve the application moved by Mr. Clay. Oh, sorry,
Through the chair, just a point of clarification, as amended.
Thank you, Colin.
Okay.
okay, so we have a motion moved by Mr. Clay to approve the application as amended, changing variance 8 to read 1.9 meters. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Howe.
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Mr. Howe. All in favor? That carries. Opposed? Okay, so dissents is Mr. Khan and Ms. McCauley. Okay, the application's been approved. All right, we're gonna take a break, let's say till 10 after 12. All right. We're going to resume the hearing with item number 7, which is 75 Crockford Boulevard. We have before us a public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans, previous decisions affecting this property, a cover letter from the agent. We have advisory comments from Ravine and Natural Feature Protection as well as TRCA, and a support letter from the local councillor. We have one variance before us. Is there anyone in the audience for 75 Crockford Boulevard? That's a no, and there's nobody online other than the agent. Could I have the agent, please?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of committee. My name is Randall Dickey. I'm the agent for the property owner.
Good morning, or good afternoon, actually, Mr. Dickey. Do we need any presentation or anything? We're good with the materials. Is there anything you want to add before we make a decision on this item?
I'm not going to waste any more of the committee's time, but obviously I'd be pleased to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Okay, there are no questions, so I'm going to take it into committee. I'll need a motion on this then.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
I'll
Ms.
recommend
McCauley.
approval of this variance. It's a very minor side yard setback for an addition to a one-story commercial building.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Mr. Howe?
Thank you, Chair. I'll second the motion.
All right, so I have a motion to approve the application, moved by Ms. McCauley, seconded by Mr. Howe. All in favor? That carries. And Mr. Khan is absent, as well as Mr. Clay. Okay, your application's approved, sir. Okay, the next item, number 8, was deferred. And the next item is item number 9, which is 23 Garden Park Avenue. We have before us a public hearing notice, a location map, plan of survey, site photos, supporting materials from the agent, and we have forestry asking for conditions, and we have a 12 signature petition in support, and that includes both adjacent neighbors at 21 and 25. All right, we have 3 variances before us. Do we have the agent on the line? And I am showing one person that has concerns, not online. Okay, do we have the applicant then?
Ali Shokeri, 326 Shepherd Avenue East. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Okay, panel members, do you have any questions for the agent? No? We're on item number 9, so no questions. Sir, is there anything you want to add that's not in the materials before us? We don't have any questions. We're ready to make a decision on this.
No, Madam Chair, I have no comments, but happy to answer if there is any question.
Okay, we're in committee, panel members. Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I would propose to move approval for this application. There are 12 petitions of support. No objections from City Department. There are only 3 variances before us, and on review, they look minor and meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act. Therefore, I move approval.
Is there, can I confirm with staff, are there forestry conditions? Because I don't show any. Can we just confirm? Because maybe, was it missed in the tabs again? Okay. All right, plus forestry conditions, Mr. Howe.
Okay, yep, with forestry condition number 1.
All right. Cool.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the application, including the forestry condition, moved by Mr. Howe, seconded by Ms. McCauley. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Okay. Item number 10, 25 Meadow Road. We have before us public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans, as well as site photos. We have one variance before us. Is there anybody in the audience for 25 Fern Meadow Road? No? Okay, do we have the agent on the line?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. This is Shams Sayed, McWays Inc., 6 Ripon Street. I'm the authorized agent.
All right, sir, we don't have any questions for you, I don't believe. Is there anything you want to add before we go into committee?
No, Madam Chair. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
All right, we're in committee. Can I have a motion, Mr. Khan? Oh, you have a question. Okay, we're out of committee.
Thank you, madam. My question is through you, madam. Is it already built, the rear addition, and when was it built?
Thank you, sir. Through you, Madam Chair. Yes, this was built about couple of years ago. The reason and purpose for building this by the owner was that he has an elderly mother-in-law who is specially abled and has mobility challenges, and that was built in order to accommodate her to live on the main floor. And once they were notified that this needs to be legalized, they immediately called us to get this legalized, and we submitted permits for such. So this is an as-built condition, correct?
Thank you.
Okay, we're back in committee.
Should it be then to permit rather than construct? No? Or legalize or permit, or rather than construct if it's already constructed?
Through the chair, it would depend on if there was an order to comply.
There isn't, so.
So it's really
Legalize is, order to comply is legalize.
correct.
If there's no order to comply, it's usually permit.
Yeah, could permit or construct. Yeah.
Okay, we're back. in
Through the
committee.
chair or maintain.
Or maintain,
Yes.
good point, yeah, good point. I think that's even better.
All right, we're back in committee. So, I'll need a motion then. Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There is only one variance in front of us, is minor in nature. Therefore, I'll move it. It should be approved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Can I just, a friendly amendment, can we change the purpose to maintain because it's already constructed? Would you be okay with
That's
that?
what it says. We're on item 10, FYI.
Maybe I should probably myself in order.
Yeah, I think you're not gonna vote.
I'm not gonna vote on this one.
Exactly. Okay. All right, so we have a motion on the floor, moved by Mr. Khan to approve the application. And it's seconded by
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Howe. And Mr. Clay will not be voting on this item. Okay, all in favor? That carries unanimously. We did them all while you were somewhere. Okay, item number 11, 3012 Queen Street East. Actually, bear with me 1 second. I just have to change files here. Okay, we have before us a public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans. We have, the application is as amended, deletion of variance 1 and 2. And forestry is asking for condition number 2. Not showing any speakers online, and you're the agent?
Yes.
Okay, I just need you to identify yourself for the record, sir.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members. The architect and the applicant, Pedro Pimentel, 111 Floridale Drive in Mississauga.
Okay, panel members, do you have any questions for the agent?
Couldn't catch, madam, on the name.
The name? Can you just, it's Mr.
Pedro Pimentel. That's
Yeah,
that's my name.
Pimentel. Pimentel. Pedro, initial P.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Pimentel? Mr. Howe?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question. The current dwelling is a single-family home.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So that means variance 4 is really an existing condition.
Yes, in existing condition, yes, yes.
Okay.
We are, no, we spoke with the community planner and she agreed that all the neighborhood is a single family except for the west side, which is an apartment building is existing already. So we
Okay.
are conforming with the area, right?
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. I would ask variance number 4, would you be kind enough to explain a little bit?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
It's an existing condition.
Yeah,
So
but
Yeah,
are
yeah. So
not
the
allowed.
so the zoning is for apartments, but you know the house has been there since 1950s, so it's been built in that area for a long time, and all the neighborhood is a single family dwelling except for a couple lots on the west side, which are now apartment buildings. So we want to keep the use as a single family dwelling.
Sir, I was looking your information or your answer in terms of not allowed in apartment residential A zone. So specifically with respect to zone A, you're not
Correct.
allowed.
Correct. Yes. So
So
it's a non-conforming use as it is now as a single family dwelling.
So can we, can I simplify it? Was the zoning changed since that house was built?
I'm
Or
not
you don't
sure.
know?
I'm not sure. I spoke with Homa, which is the community planner, and she had no problem because all the neighborhood around is single family dwelling. After, like, east of this property becomes a different zone. So the east of this property, which is the next one that I have on the agenda, 10 FALLINGBROOK is just abutting this property and is a different zone already, like a full residential zone, like a single family dwelling.
Sir, I also see the retaining wall. There is a retaining wall.
Yeah, we're not going to change that. Is this like in the backyard?
I mean, on the plan, it is showing a
Yes,
retaining
it
wall.
shows.
The
Yeah, it
distance
shows
between
like
retaining wall and the house is 9-10 millimeter, roughly a meter. And it was so unclear by taking your variance number 1 and number 2 deleted and they have been revised. So I was a little bit confused. I couldn't make it out. What is going on?
So so we spoke with the planner about the fact that the coverage was exceeding. So what we did, we made a considerable reduction on the addition just to avoid the going back as it was, and also take away one of the variances was increase, like going back into the 4 meters, which we have we now keep on the west side. So we have a side yard variance deleted on the west side from 0.91 to 4 meters, and we also comply with the coverage. All this was discussed with the community planner. Yes.
Sir, I'm not convinced or clear adding one story in the back when it is zone A, and zone A, you don't know what it is.
All right, are there any other questions? Is there anything you'd like to add before we go into
No,
committee? sir?
no.
Thank you. Okay, we're in committee, panel members. Ms. McCauley.
Okay, this dwelling unit obviously is a single family dwelling. I would say it's a legal non-conforming use. And what I'm looking at is that the PIN, the survey information that we have shows that lot and the lots on Fallingbrook are all part of the same PIN. Whereas when you go to the west, you're into a different different subdivision or different survey. So I don't have a problem with this. I think it's a problem trying to confirm that it's a legal non-conforming lot, because that takes you back through a fair amount of history, and really all you want to do is continue to maintain the house and add to it. So I think the variance in front of us is quite reasonable. I recommend approval. There's an urban forestry condition.
As amended with deletion of variances 1 and 2.
Right.
Excellent. Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion, Mr. Howe?
I'll second the motion.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the application, including forestry condition number 2, as amended with the deletion of variance 1 and 2, moved by Ms. McCauley, seconded by Mr. Howe. All in favor? That carries, and Mr. Khan dissents. Okay, so that carries, and then just give me 1 second. The next one is yours also.
Yes.
Sorry, but I need you to identify yourself for the record again.
So Pedro Pimentel, architect. I'm the applicant and the agent, and the architect. So this is a one-story rear addition, about the same profile, like approximately. We delete variance number 2, which was the technicality with the stairs. So we have only the coverage as being the variance.
Okay, so variance number 2 was deleted, panel members, so we're only dealing with 1 variance here. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Pimentel? Seeing none, anything you want to add, sir, before we go into committee?
No.
All right, we're in committee. Who would like to move? Mr. Clay? Go ahead. I mean, ended the last one. You can go ahead and do
Go
the
ahead.
one.
I will second what.
Okay, well, you're assuming that I'm gonna,
Well, we don't know, but whatever. Go ahead.
again, this seems a very much, I actually note that the 2 properties appear to touch each other in the back, right?
Yes, they are.
So,
Yeah.
Again, it looks like a very modest proposal. It's just a very simple increase in coverage. I don't think it's has any impact. We don't have any correspondence or opposition on this one. It's a very straightforward application. I would move approval, and there is no conditions.
So the application
As amended, thank you very much.
You caught it before.
I caught it before you got me.
Very good. Okay, so we have a motion to approve the application as amended with the deletion of variance number 2, moved by Mr. Clay, seconded by Ms. McCauley. Right? Okay, all in favor? That carries unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah, so did I, but
Do you have any more to do today, or that's it?
Okay, the next item number 13, 3268 Finch Avenue East. We have before us a revised public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans, a decision of different file numbers that affect this property, and concern was expressed by 2900 Warden Avenue, Suite 308. And the revision is just a correction to variance number 3, so it's not a change. Okay, let's see here. I have 1 speaker listed virtually. There's nobody in the audience. Do you have the speaker online for the opposition or concern? Or no? Laura?
Through the chair, Laura is not online, but the applicant is.
Okay, we'll go with the applicant then.
Through the chair, Morteza, you have been unmuted.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Morteza Alabaf. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thanks for identifying yourself. We did have a speaker. The person's not online. I don't think we need a full presentation. Let's see if there are any questions from the panel members. Anybody have any questions from Mr. Alabaff. Okay, is there anything, sir, you'd like to add that's not in the materials before us?
No, I would not take too much time of the committee's time today.
Okay, we're in committee, panel members. Ms. McCauley.
Okay. This is an application that we have seen several times before, from vacant to interim use. October, it got approval for 330 units. And every time we have seen this application, we have had an objector from the adjacent property owner. The adjacent property owner is Bridletown Mall, and he's objecting to retail. This, if you'll indulge me, reminds me of the old days when shopping centers objected to new shopping centers on the basis of taking away their sales. It's not a planning argument. So even though the Bridletown Mall is objecting to the retail component of this, because they're concerned about loss of their own retail stores, there is no real issue to deal with this application. The 14-story apartment building with ground floor retail, 16 stories, maybe. And there are no conditions. So I recommend approval.
Okay, do I have a seconder for the motion, which is to approve the application? It's as amended, but that's only a correction to variance number 3. Mr. Clay? Oh, okay, Mr. Clay seconds. All in favor? Mr. Khan dissents. Okay, the application has been approved. Okay, item number 14, 755 Passmore Avenue. We have before us public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans. We have site photos, cover letter from Romanov Architects, Inc., supporting materials from the agent. We have community planning are asking for deferral or refusal of variance number 2, and we have transportation asking for deferral, and they do have some advisory comments. I don't show any speakers on this. Sir, are you here for this application? Item 15? Okay. All right. Do you have the agent on the line?
So it's John Romanov, principal of Romanov Architects.
Okay, good afternoon.
375 Parkside Drive in Toronto.
Hi, are you aware of the planning report and the transportation report? They're both asking for deferral for starters. How do you feel about that?
Deferral, yes. Yes, if I could perhaps just give a bit of a commentary to the committee.
Go ahead.
We would prefer deferral rather than denial, of course, but I could perhaps give the committee an option that they may consider.
Well, I think the only options we have is what's before us. So we have the variances that are before us. And then, so there's 2 variances.
Well,
right? So I'm not
yes,
sure
but
what you're suggesting. So the planning wants refusal of number 2.
well, I think they asked for a deferral.
Well, they asked for either or, sir, so.
Yes. What I was going to suggest to committee is a restriction on the retail use. That's all I was going to offer. That would be based on the definition of wholesaling, which is allowed use in the surrounding properties under the overall bylaw.
Okay, Mr. Khan has a question for you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. My first question is, I have actually one more. What kind of business is it?
The business is proposed to be a wholesale business that would be allowed under the general bylaw. In this case, because we have a site-specific bylaw, that use is not listed. So we basically have a production center for food services. For food, it's a BESCO warehouse and breakdown area, repackaging area. So the intent is that BESCO would be selling their product to other retailers and businesses, not to the general public. That's the intent.
Could you precisely tell me, is it a food stuff? What kind of food?
Yes, it's basically all kinds of food. There would be meat, fish products, as well as vegetables, general products that would be sold in any grocery store, basically. But the idea is that this would be quote unquote a cash and carry, which is only being sold to other businesses, smaller businesses, and to business owners, not to the general public, is the intent. Consequently, that's why I've suggested that the committee could perhaps put a restriction on the type of retail sales to be in line with the wholesaling use that is allowed in the surrounding area under the E zone, which would allow only sales to other businesses or other retailers.
How many jobs it will create?
I'm sorry?
How many jobs it will create?
Well, we're probably looking at about a dozen people or so in the cash and carry area, and then another dozen in the warehousing breakdown area, plus office space, another 10 or so in the office. As I say, yes, sorry.
Go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to say that, again, the only thing that I would point out is that a wholesale use, which is what we're suggesting be the restriction on our retail, is a use that's allowed within the zoning that is the E zoning within the area.
Yeah, my only concern is if you are kind enough to elaborate a little bit more or give information, is variance number 2. Ancillary retail occupancy 40%, while it is much less allowed.
Yes, sir. So again, what we're suggesting is that the retail use that we're suggesting here is only because that's the allowed use that would relate to what we'd want to do under the current site-specific zoning. However, the city zoning, the overall parent bylaw for the City of Toronto, and the uses that are predominant surrounding this site is an E use, which allows for wholesaling, which is the use that we were anticipating that we would like to go with. We understand that the committee cannot, or I believe the committee cannot assign new uses to property. However, we're suggesting that a restriction could be put on the retail expansion use that we're suggesting that would be in conformance with a wholesale definition.
If I could just interject here for a minute, I appreciate what you're saying, and I did read your materials that spoke a lot about
Yes.
the warehouse use.
Yes.
I don't know about my fellow members here. I personally would feel better about a deferral because I think if you discuss all this with the planning department and if warehousing is permitted, then, you know, maybe this variance number 2 shouldn't even be here. That if you're asking for warehousing. So honestly, I don't think us putting a condition on is going to, is the right way to go. So Mr. Howe.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And if I could add, there's still the transportation services recommendation, which is also to defer because there are deficiencies in parking. They're asking for a parking justification report. So it's not like if we can even if we do resolve variance 2, there's still variance 1. So I think there are multiple issues at play here, and deferral would be the best approach here.
I would agree. I think it's really hard for this committee to put a condition on when we really don't fully understand the nuances of it and the importance of protecting and preserving employment uses and employment areas.
So, I think you've got sort of, the
Yes,
direction the
so
committee
that's
wants to
fine.
go. Okay, so, you would be asking
we
for
would-
deferral then?
Yes, we would go along with.
And you would be asking for a deferral to consult with both planning and transportation and then come back, hopefully, with
Correct.
something, yeah,
Correct.
okay,
Yep.
great. Okay, so, with that, I'll need a motion. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's a good proposal to defer, and the applicant has agreed for the deferral, further discussion with the department and come back for approval otherwise. So I make it that this application be deferred for further consideration with the.
Okay, Ms. McCauley?
Before we go into voting, I had another comment here. I just want to say it's because presumably he's going to defer and he's going to have to look at these comments. My comments are the parking, he's looking for retail parking at 3 per 100 meters squared for 196 spaces. Now, he told us there'd be 10, maybe 15, maybe even 20 employees. Why do you need another 196 parking spaces for 20 employees? So when he comes back, he needs to look at the parking ratios that he's dealing with, which is why transportation has asked for a comprehensive parking justification study, as well as the use.
Okay,
But
so did you want to second the motion?
I will
now?
second the motion for a
Okay.
deferral.
All right, so we have a motion to defer the application, moved by Mr. Khan, seconded by Ms. McCauley to defer the request by the applicant to consult with transportation and planning. All in favor? Okay, that carries unanimously.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Item number 15, 5637 Finch Avenue East, Units 6 and 7. We have before us a public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey and plans, cover letter from Mainline Planning Services, Inc., tree inventory plan prepared by Mainline Planning Services, Inc., as well as site photos. And planning is recommending refusal. Okay. Hi.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Nicholas Moore. I'm a junior planner with Mainline Planning Services, and we'd like to proceed with the application today despite staff's recommendation.
Okay, just to confirm, there's nobody else in the audience for this item, 5637 Finch Avenue East. All right, do you want to give us a little bit of a presentation as to why you disagree with planning?
So, just to start off, we're retained by the owner to request a variance to increase the setback to Finch Avenue to permit a future affordable childcare center. And with me today is the tenant, the owner of Kidsville, and they are a nonprofit daycare establishment. We've had a chance to review the report that was issued by city staff last Wednesday, and the basis for the refusal is emerging policy prescribed in Official Plan Amendment 804. And just to be clear, that official plan amendment has not received approval by the minister and is not enforced policy. As well, that official plan amendment refers to OPA 668 and 680, which are also not enforced. Current policy in the official plan under policy 4.6.3 states that in a general employment area, all retail and service uses are permitted. With that being said, a day nursery is also permitted in the bylaw up to 50 meters away from Finch Avenue, which is the variance request today to extend those permissions. You have our planning opinion before you that the variance or proposal request meets the 4 test. This plaza has always been considered for retail, commercial, and service uses. There are no industrial tenants, there's no overhead doors, there's no loading docks, and most importantly, to support this future use, there is a residential community about a 10-second distance across the street on the other side of Tapscott Road. So we believe that the proposal meets the 4 test. It's appropriate given there's residential across the street
and it is in a general employment area, not core employment, which permits all types of retail and service uses. If you have any further questions, comments, concerns, I'm more than happy to answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Quay, did you have a question or is your light just on? Okay. Anybody else have any questions? No? All right. Have you had a lot of discussion with planning?
We've had discussion with planning, and from our experience with emerging policies pertaining to 680, 668 that have not been approved yet, they're unwilling to change their position in previous cases. So we decided to proceed with the application today, just given on history. And we've had deferrals on other applications in the past. Committees have recommended we go and take the application and discuss with staff. But from these policies, they're very unwilling to change their position.
Okay. Sure. Oh, Mr. Quay?
Yeah, so just to be clear, if the policy that is currently before the minister for approval were approved, this use wouldn't be allowed, or would there be a path forward under that change that would allow you to have some form of a similar type of use?
So through you, Madam Chair, I believe the OPA 804, it changes the wording to ancillary retail and services, but regarding if this use would be permitted with the future official plan in effect, I can't comment on that because I don't know how staff would interpret that policy. And given that they're recommending refusal, I don't know what the alternative solution would be. I'm just evaluating the proposal on the enforced current policy right now.
No, I understand. I
Sorry.
thought you might have a better sense than us about the nuances of the new change to the OP.
Yeah, it's complicated, but just for, I guess, for the matter before the committee today, from our previous experiences and, from tribunal hearings, they defer that, the current policy is what's in force. I can't comment on the future policy at this time, just because I don't know how staff would interpret it. Sorry.
Right. Although community planning appears to have a good sense of where this is going.
I mean, they're recommending refusal. If it were with those policies in force, I don't know what the alternative measures would be that they would kind of recommend as a approval path. But I can only go on current policy.
No,
My
I
apologies.
understand. I just thought that if there were a path forward to get you where you want to get to under the new provisions, would that be an alternative for you?
Through you, Madam Chair, I'm not entirely sure. Could you repeat the question, please? Sorry.
But if you look at the last paragraph in the planning report, they say new day nursery uses are not permitted in the general, and so I
There's
would
no path
say
forward.
there is no path
That's
forward.
what I'm just trying to get at from a technical perspective, whether
Yeah.
that would be something that could be done in the future or not. Sounds like not.
Pretty clear from planning's perspective, not. Did you have a question or a comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I have a follow-up question. Do you know what's the timeline for the minister's approval?
It is, I searched it yesterday, through you, Madam Chair, sorry. It is unclear when they're going to approve the application. I don't have a date with me right now. I know that the OPAs were approved last year. The minister, I don't know when they're approving it yet.
So I was going to suggest something, perhaps if it's near the decision, it could be deferred, so we have more certainty on where the provincial direction is going to go.
Yeah, Mr. Khan and then Ms. McCauley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you. My question, sir, is very simple. I would like to know how many children are involved and what age of this nursery would be.
Through you, Madam Chair, I believe the children are between 18 months to 6 years old. I have the owner of Kidsville in attendance with me. I believe it's approximately 50 children. 93 children, my apologies.
How many?
Pardon? 93 children between the ages of
Thank
1.5 years to 6 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ms. McCauley, you had a question?
Yeah, this is one property, one big property, even though it has 3 separate addresses. I know the office building on the corner because it's an office building, and I've been up on the 4th floor of that office, or 2nd floor of that office building. The office building would allow a daycare, but because they're more than they're 94 meters from Finch, not 50. If you're within 50 meters, which is the office building to the north and the other 2 buildings on the site, you could have a daycare. But down here, you can't have a daycare. You're just too far away from Finch Avenue. I'm having difficulty with that. You know, daycare uses are needed. I know it's really helpful, being a woman, to have a daycare center close to or even within my office building. So I have difficulty justifying why we can't have a daycare facility on this location. That's my comment at the moment. It's I don't know whether the ministry is starting to look at, let's eliminate all daycares. It used to be that we would provide daycares because it's an assistance to the employment use and makes it better. But here, it appears what they're trying to do is delete daycares from any employment area. So I have problems with this one. Community planning are recommending refusal. I understand they are following the rules of their bosses, and maybe the minister will even approve it. So your only chance really is a variance.
Correct. Oh, sorry to interrupt.
Your only chance here is a variance, or to look at, is there space in any of those other 3 buildings on site? It's frustrating. So I will shut up and let someone else comment.
Mr. Clay.
Thanks, Chair. A couple questions. So just to get a little bit more sense of your proposal, it's in a industrial strip mall. What are the other uses in and around there? I mean, is it industrial or is it some variation of use? Yeah, so I'm trying to get at, like, what are the other uses in the general vicinity?
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have photos showing some of the other tenants on the property, but the plaza, it consists of the office building, and the Government of Ontario is the anchor tenant there. The other 3 buildings, it's mainly retail and service uses. So there's grocery stores, there's restaurants, there's some small scale, not industrial manufacturing, but oil pressing and a florist shop with a retail component. So it has been considered for a long time that these units are primarily for retail and services. Again, given there's no overhead doors, loading docks. I also just, I guess, want to reiterate, you brought up a really good point, Ms. McCauley. If the unit was proposed in one of the other 3 buildings, they fall within 50 meters of Finch Avenue and it would be approved. The uses next door are core employment to the west of this property and some core employment north. But where this unit is on the property is in the southeast corner, directly adjacent to Tapscott Road and looking out to the residential neighborhood 30 meters across the street. So I know that staff had mentioned day nursery not being permitted in their report, but just to go back to the official plan, what's currently in force clearly states that all types of retail and service uses are permitted, and we are of the opinion that affordable childcare is a much needed service in the community.
Yeah, I did notice the residential community across the road. Then looking at your floor plans, I mean, often daycares have some sort of external play yard or something? Is there an area for kids to play outside here?
Through you, Madam Chair, that is currently being considered in a building permit application that's ongoing. On the Tapscott, not the right of way, but there's a landscaped strip adjacent to the units. There will be fencing and bollards placed there, and the proposed play area will be in the side yard there. I don't know if it is shown on the plans before you, but it is clarified in our building permit application currently with the city. I can, if this light here works, I can project like an overhead.
No, you can't, but I mean,
Sorry.
if we can, I'm not sure that's helpful. Go up, keep going. One more. Yeah, that. So roughly where would the outdoor area be on the map?
Through you, Madam Chair, if you could see those units in green on the screen in front of you, just to the right of those units, there's a landscape strip that's approximately 6 meters wide on the owner's property. There would be a strip, not a strip, but about a 30 meter by 6 meter play area. There would be fencing, there would be bollards. That is clarified in a building permit application, but that is the approximate area of where it would be. It might be shown on that plan in front of you in some opaque line weights, but I'm not 100% certain. I can't see
That's
from here.
6, I know, I'm looking at it. It's 6 meters to the sidewalk?
From the
Building to the sidewalk?
yeah, from
And you think you can get a fence put there?
through you, Madam Chair, there's about 6 meters from the back of those units to the property line, and then maybe about another 2 meters to the the sidewalk on Tapscott. We believe that we can get a fence in there. That is, I guess, considered under the building permit application, but I don't know the status of the review, if there's been any comments on the fence, but none that we've received as part of the minor variance application before you. Sorry.
It would be a chain link fence or something?
It would be through you, Madam Chair, it would be a chain link fence with bollards surrounding it, just to give some additional safety measures for the children.
Right, because if it's at the driveway where you go in, be a site obstruction, right? So you can't put board on board or anything to kind of buffer the kids more.
And through you, Madam Chair, I get.
Ways off, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, it's been sized and designed. You need 5.6 square meters per child of outdoor play area. Given how many children will be outdoors at any one time, the space designed is adequate to meet the minimum requirement.
Mr. Khan?
Madam Chair, through you. Sir, my question is, did you have the opportunity of discussing your daycare with the other businesses in the area or in the building? Because children generally make noise, they have playgrounds and all that. So you had the opportunity?
Through you, Madam Chair, the direct owners or tenants adjacent to the daycare will be restaurants. They have not voiced any concerns with the application, and we're representing them with a separate matter. The owner has no concerns with the application, given that all the units are on one property boundary. The owner doesn't have concerns, and the next door tenants don't have concerns. Beyond that, we haven't heard any feedback from the tenants, but yeah, the next door neighbors are not concerned.
Anybody else have any questions? Take it into committee then. Any comments? Ms. McCauley?
I'm going to comment. Daycare uses are often kind of squeezed into employment areas because that is where the people that use them the most need them. So I've seen all sorts of daycare centers with minimal outdoor spaces. This building, the adjacent building is predominantly an office building, has community and social services Government of Ontario Community and Social Services offices in it. So I know generally it's a lot of clerical staff. I don't know that the daycare uses would be for the employees of the area, or whether it's just another use for daycare in the general community. The residential communities on the other side of the road. As a matter of policy, I think having a daycare center at a place of employment is a good policy. It is a convenience to the employer, a convenience to the employee, and following all the rules and regulations, and I've dealt with a lot of daycares, it can be made suitable for the residents. So the fact that this site that they want to put the daycare in is 100 feet away, 100 feet away from a permitted part of this site is astonishing. We're talking 100 feet. Move you 100 feet north and you're okay. So with those comments, I would recommend approval of this application.
Okay, anybody else have anything to add? Mr. Clay, and then Mr.
Go
Howe.
ahead,
Go
Mr.
ahead,
Howe.
Mr. Howe, then.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I take somewhat of a different view from my colleague, Ms. McCauley here. I mean, we know for a fact that OPA 804 has been adopted by the city. Sure, it's subject to approval by the minister right now, but the policy is not in draft. It has been adopted. And the OPA policy is very clear that a day nursery use is not a permitted use on lands designated as general employment areas. That's a change to the former policy. And given where the city is very firm on its policy now, I'm hesitant to approve this application, which is clearly a contravention to where the direction is going. And we see the refusal recommendation from community planning report as well. So that's where I currently sit right now.
Okay, Mr. Clay.
Yeah, sure. I totally understand. I appreciate it. I think when I first read this, I had the same view, is that, you know, when we get a staff recommendation from community planning, we need to, and we always do take those very seriously. Anne makes a number of good points. I was just touring around using, you know, Google Street View of this mall. And it is made up of a variety of things, uses that, while in an employment district, I wouldn't necessarily suggest are stereotypical employment uses, in the sense that they are retail, there are restaurants, there are service, there's an eye care, there's a supermarket. There are a variety of uses which I don't see necessarily as being incompatible with the daycare, combined with the office use. I would also note that, you know, it is adjacent to a large residential area. It just happens to be on the other side of the road. There are, I think, more traditional employment uses as you go deeper into this neighborhood, but this is right on the periphery. And it is a matter of 30 meters difference, which seems to me to be really, you know, splitting hairs. I agree that daycare uses that are near or adjacent to office and other types of related employment uses are a good thing. I wouldn't necessarily agree with a daycare use that's in kind of like the heart of an employment area, or that is an area that is subject to large trucks, you know, industrial type of activity, noise or air pollution. that sort of thing. I don't see this particular site as being one. And the only last thing I would say with respect to, you know, council's intent, my experience is the minister, it's at the minister's discretion whether to approve that in whole or in part. It is, even though it's adopted by council, it's not yet in effect. And frankly, we should be dealing with matters that are currently in effect, not potentially going to happen down the road. And I think it's always risky when we assume that something's going to be passed, and particularly with another order of government. That's always a risky thing. So the current provisions and the current OP as existing now allow for this. So I'm leaning towards supporting it for all those various reasons.
Okay. I guess I'll just weigh in and say that I agree with the comments made by Mr. Clay and Ms. McCauley. I too feel that, you know, if it's not enforced yet, then although I respect the planning's view on this, but it's not in effect yet. So I think we should be dealing with what's currently in effect, and therefore I too would be inclined to support the application. Okay, so I'll need a motion from somebody.
I'll move approval of this application. I don't think there's any conditions.
No. Okay.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion to approve the application moved by Ms. McCauley, seconded by Mr. Clay. All in favor? That carries. And Mr. Khan and Mr. Howe dissent. Okay. All right, your application.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Okay. Item number 16. 38 ADENCLIFF Road. We have before us a public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey, and plans. And we have tree and site photos. We have one variance before us for 0.0 times coverage, folks. We have the agent on the line. There's nobody left in the audience, so.
Good afternoon. This is John Ramirez, and I'm the agent for this application.
Okay, good afternoon. We don't have any, we don't need a presentation. I don't think there are any questions. Anything you want to add before we take this into committee, sir?
No.
All right, panel members, as I said, in my mind, this is probably the most minor variance we've had all day. All right, I'll need a motion from somebody. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move that we have one variance as minor in nature. It should be approved.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Ms. McCauley. All right, I have a motion to approve the application, moved by Mr. Khan, seconded by Ms. McCauley, because it's felt it meets the 4 tests. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Application's approved, sir. Item number 17, 114 Moorehouse Drive. We have before us public hearing notice, location map, plan of survey, and plans. And we have site photos. We have 3 variances before us, and no opposition. Do we have the agent on the line?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. This is Shams Sayed, McWays Inc., 6 Ripon Street, Mississauga. I'm the authorized agent for this application.
Okay, sir, we don't need a presentation. Anybody have any questions for the agent? Seeing none. Is there anything you'd like to add, sir, before we take this into committee?
No, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay. All right, panel members, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move this application 3 variances, minor in nature. They should be approved.
Okay, we have a motion to approve this application as it meets the 4 tests, moved by Mr. Khan, seconded by Mr. Howe.
Yes, I'll second the motion.
All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. Your application's approved. Item number 18, 1100 Birchmount Road. We have before us a public hearing notice, arborist report prepared by 7 Oaks Tree Care and Urban Forestry Consultants, Inc. We have forestry, natural ravine protection asking for a condition, and we have TRCA report, which I believe it's, they're okay with it, so they just have advisory comments. Okay, do we have the agent on the line? Is the agent there? Hello?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm Shen Shu.
Hi, what's your name?
Yeah, my name is Shen Shu Zhang, architect. And good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members. I'm the agent.
Okay, what's your address, sir?
98 Scarsdale Road, North York.
All right, sir. We don't have any opposition speakers. We have one variance before us. I don't believe we need a presentation. Anybody have any questions for the agent? Ms. McCauley? Sir, did you hear the question? How long has this place of worship been there?
Oh, it's already long. I guess at least 10 years ago, it started with a temporary permit, and then they started the site plan approval, which was approved last year. Sorry. And then actually about the parking spaces, during the SPA, it was already approved. And we have this issue because when we apply for building permits, the zoning examiner has a different idea about the calculation of the GFA. And as per his calculation, we need 11 more parking spaces. But actually, the users believe that they have enough spaces, and also it has a very convenient access to public transit. The bus stop is just beside on the corner. So that's the reason we believe that this variance is very minor.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Okay, sir, we don't have any more questions. Anything you want to add before we go into committee?
No.
All right, panel members, we're in committee. Mr. Howe.
Thank you, Chair. I move approval of this application. There's only one variance before us. It looks minor. It meets the 4th test of the Planning Act, and this approval is subject to RNFP condition number 2.
Okay. Do we have a seconder, Mr. Clay? Okay, so we have a motion to approve the application as it meets the 4 tests, including the ravine and natural feature protection condition. Moved by Mr. Howe, seconded by Mr. Clay. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. Item number 19, 16 Bugle Hill Road. We have before us public hearing notice. We have a revised public hearing notice with amendments. Variance number 1 is changed to 3.46 meters. Variance number 3 now reads 24.19 meters. We have a revised site plan, floor plans and elevations, a cover letter from the owner, an arborist report prepared by Tree Doctors, Inc., as well as a construction report prepared by them. And we have planning also has conditions. And I don't show any speakers other than the agent and the owners. Do we have the agent on the line?
Hello, Madam Chair, committee members. I'm the owner of the 16 Bugle Hill Road, Armen Vartanyan.
Okay, sir. I don't think we need a presentation. Panel members, do you have any questions? No? Sir, we don't have any questions. Is there anything you'd like to add before we make a decision on this matter?
Yeah, community planning asking to tie the decision to the elevation 309. for the right side, the garage elevation, the height of the right side, it depends on the floor of the garage. But there is a tree roots. I don't want to damage that. This can be changed the height of the garage. That's only the part. If it's okay, not tied to the height, but only it's gonna be built on the piles, just on that.
Okay, so you're okay with tying it to site plan, but not the second one?
But not the height. Yes, I'm okay with the site plan, but I'm not okay with it can be changed. I mean, I'm not 100% sure how much it will change. That's why.
Okay. And then condition number 2 is, so just so I'm clear, so you have a problem with condition number 2, which is the right elevation?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So if it's only tied to site plan, it's okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. 100%
All right.
okay with it.
Okay.
Can we just clarify, like, so community planning wants it tied to that elevation to restrict the height?
I'm not sure.
I'm just
No, it's
trying.
it's for the piles. It should be piled, not on the footing, because there is a trees to not damage the roots.
Yeah,
That's
no,
why they tied it to
I
elevation.
understand your reason for not doing that. And that's laudable. You don't want to damage a tree. But I'm just trying to get an understanding why planning. Does it say in their report why they want to tie it to that elevation?
When
Probably
you're gonna
does.
look at when you look at the site plan, you can see that in that elevation, it's showing that it's on the piles.
It's on piles.
Yes, it should be. That's why they tied it to that part, to that elevation, to 100% be sure that it will be on the piles, not the footing.
So the site plan would do that though, right?
Yes, the site plan is there, but the height is not on the variance. But I don't know how the examiner when I'm gonna go to the permit, maybe they can say, okay, it should be this height because it's tied to the decision. That's why I need to be flexible there.
So yeah, so it says they tied to the right elevation to ensure the addition is constructed as designed in regard to the pier foundation.
Yes.
So what you're saying is if we tied it just to the site plan, that would still have the same outcome?
Yes, definitely. It's gonna be same outcome. It's gonna be on pillars. It's gonna be same.
Okay.
That's all for me. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, let's take it into committee for a decision then. Anybody? Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 4 variances in front of us, and number 1 has been amended to 3.46, and third variance has been amended to 24.19 meters. So they are all minor and meet the standards. So therefore, I move this and taking the staff recommendations as well, approved for with conditions and forestry conditions.
So, see, if the applicant has asked that we don't tie it to the side elevation.
Yeah, it has to be tied with the side elevation.
You want it tied to the side?
That's right, sir.
His concern is if we do that, then he might damage the roots of the tree. That was what he was suggesting.
It means then we have to consider another route of further discussion with the staff.
Well, I think when we discussed it, because the planning department had to tie it to site plan and to tie it to the right elevation. So the applicant said if we tie it to site plan only, that should cover everything.
Okay,
Are you okay
I'm
with that?
trying with that site plan, yes.
So, okay, so then we'll just put a condition into type
That's,
site plan and we
that's,
won't we won't
absolutely,
stop it.
absolutely.
All right, do we have a seconder for that motion then? So the motion that Mr. Khan is moving is to approve the application as amended. And with variance number 1 reading 3.46 meters, variance number 3 is 24.1 meters, including forestry conditions, and then also a condition to tie it to the site plan. Do we have a seconder, Mr. Clay? Okay, all in favor? That carries unanimously. Your application's approved, sir. All right. The last item today is 715 Milner Avenue. We have before us a public hearing notice, a location map, plan of survey and plans, presentation materials from the agent. Forestry is asking for a condition. And RNFP, Ravina Natural Feature Protection, also sent email correspondence. And they are also asking for a condition. And I have listed one person who is speaking in support. I don't know if they're online. Are they? No? Okay, so then I have no objection.
Hello, we are here.
Are you the support people?
Yes, we are the applicants, Adam Achtenberg and Cassandra
Right, so you're
Colchester.
not the person who wanted to speak in support, right? Okay, so that's what I was asking staff, because I had somebody listed here, a third speaker. So they're not online, so you're the agent then, the applicants? Okay. All right, and I need your address then, please?
250 Water Street.
Okay. All right, you're aware of the forestry and ravine conditions, and I don't know if there's any questions for you or not. Mr.
Maybe just a quick overview. RNFP was originally refusing. It sounds like you've had some discussions to resolve that issue. What's the resolution of the issue?
Correct. We have worked with the urban forestry team preliminary to work through some of the concerns they had with some of the mature trees, which we were originally proposing to remove. So we are looking to reallocate a retaining wall along the east side of the property to work with them. Ultimately, we don't believe this actually affects the minor variance in question, but we are working with urban forestry as per their comments and notes within their reports.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Okay, Mr. Achtenberg, is there anything you want to add that's not in the materials before us before we go into committee to make a decision?
Do you need our presentation to go through the application? Or
We don't
you're
need
familiar?
the full,
Okay.
yeah, we don't, but if there's something you want to emphasize to us before we go into committee, then now's the time to do so.
No, just that this is a critical project for Toronto Hydro to get more staff available at one of their critical sites, that's all.
Okay. All right, mooring committee panel members, I need a motion, comments.
Go ahead, Eric.
Mr. Howe?
I actually have a question.
Oh, we're
so
out of
is-
committee, you have a question.
So I'm looking at my record. It says Ravine Natural Features are recommending denial. Is that
That was from the last.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
And-
back the second time.
the second time is they're no longer?
They're asking for conditions now.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm prepared to move approval of this application.
Okay.
It's, appears progress has been made in discussion with RNFP, and they have changed their denial recommendation to no objections subject to conditions. So on that basis, I feel it meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act, and I would move approval subject to RNFP condition and urban forestry condition number 2 and 3.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so I have a motion to approve the application, including the conditions by forestry and ravine and natural feature protection. Moved by Mr. Howe, seconded by Mr. Clay. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Your application is approved. Thank you. Okay, we stand adjourned at 1:25. Thanks, everybody.